This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. We start with news from the NFL. The Jets and Breece Hall have agreed to a new extension. According to agent Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports, it's a 3-year deal worth $45.75 million, and the contract includes $29 million in guarantees. The NFL will not be using replacement referees this season. The league and the Referees Association have ratified a 7-year collective bargaining agreement. Meanwhile, the NFL schedule will be released on Thursday. To the NBA, it's the Knicks and the 76ers tonight, with New York leading 2-0. We'll have the game for you here on ESPN Radio with coverage starting at 6:30 Eastern. Also tonight, the Spurs and Timberwolves play with that series tied in the game of peace. Meanwhile, the Lakers and Thunder resume their series tomorrow with OKC up 2-0 after some critical comments about officials on the LA side. ESPN's Myron Metcalf said he didn't expect the Lakers to be complaining.
I don't understand when coaches say we're never going to make excuses, and then they spend an entire press conference making excuses. I mean, LeBron James has been a 6'9", 270-pound tank for the duration of his career.
The Thunder lead that 2-0. NHL tonight, the Sabres host the Canadiens, Buffalo up 1-0, and the Knights and Ducks tied at 1 play again.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Monday as the NBA playoffs roll on, I'll tell you why what happens at the draft lottery will have the biggest impact on the offseason. Plus, Canty is back from Japan. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Matt.
You're a loser, Matt.
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Plate. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Frank Schwab will be here in 15 minutes. Talk to Mikey Matuk next hour. Alan Faneca in hour 3. No Terrio today. He is waiting out the rain at the state track meet as Georgia Terriers competing for a state championship. That whole thing has been just literally, the track at LSU literally underwater. So, hell, he can come down the street and do radio with us. But we'll see. Probably not. But let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
So we are trucking along throughout this offseason. And Lane Kiffin gave an interview to On3 to our buddy Wilson Alexander. And kind of gave an update on Sam Leavitt's timeline, and it's really good news. Kiffin said, quote, Sam Leavitt, he's going to be able to do full summer stuff. I don't know what the exact date is, but yes, he's going to be able to do full stuff in the summer. If you're wondering, the official summer strength and conditioning sessions with the staff begin like usually early mid-June, like June 10th to 15th, somewhere in there. And so remember, players can work out on their own right now. They can go on the field, do on-field work by themselves, just without coaches. They can organize 7-on-7s, throwing sessions. They can do all that stuff themselves. But the on-field work with coaches, the work with the coaches is the strength and conditioning official workout program, which starts in June. So that would be the date that you're targeting for when Levit would be part of the full summer strength and conditioning program. Then subsequent, they can go back to doing throwing sessions and all that sort of stuff until they get to fall camp, which would be at the end of July, beginning of August. We'll see what the dates are whenever they officially release them. So this was expected, but it's still kind of a relief. Remember, this was Lane Kiffin this was April the 7th. This was an update on Levit during camp, and I believe this is when he had the pins out of his foot on that Monday, and then so he wasn't there at practice. And Tuesday, Kiffin met with us, and this is what he said.
None of these are surprise. This is the timeline we expected, and had the screw removed yesterday, and everything went well. It was something that going into it we were going to know that it was going to be unfortunate. He was going to miss spring a lot of it, but that was going to allow the other guys opportunities. And just feel nowadays, it's a little easier to play quarterback than it used to be years ago as far as how long you've been there. And look at the previous place we were at. The guy didn't get there till the summer. So, kind of that went into the decision where I feel like years ago you've been really concerned that the quarterback's going to miss your spring. He's done a great job mentally in the meetings and walkthroughs and able to throw some individual before this procedure.
So that's a good reminder of the timeline that Levit's on and has been on. So it's expected, but it's still a relief knowing that you're going to have him there. Remember, it was during Levit's visit. We talked about this in January when Sam Leavitt made that visit when he was in the portal. It was when he made that visit that LSU kind of got to look at him and realized how bad that foot was. If you remember, that's when Damon Williams went in the portal, and that whole with the Washington quarterback, that's when that whole fiasco started. Sam Leavitt was here on his visit when Damon Williams went in the portal, and LSU kind of looked the other way, took their eye off the ball with Levit. Levit got ticked and left, and then Kiffin ended up flying to Knoxville to go meet him at the airport. I mean, it was very rom-com energy there, if you remember how that all unfolded. But it was because when Levit got here, they saw really how severe the foot injury was and that it was going to be a delay. So they knew this all along, that he wasn't going to be available for spring. But the hope was he'd be ready for summer and for fall camp. And it looks like that was the hope. It looks like that is the target. Now, remember, I'll remind you as well, he was Levit was limited throughout spring, but on that final day, that final Saturday of spring, we reported here, and Lane Kiffin later confirmed it, that Levit did participate in 7-on-7 the final day of spring. And the point I made then and will reiterate is, why would you risk that? And the answer is you wouldn't. All the money you have invested in Levit and just what he's going to mean to your ceiling in 2026, you wouldn't risk one day of 7-on-7s with Levit if it could set him back, which tells you there was no risk. Literally, there was no risk at all with relative to his foot or a setback. I mean, there's always risk when you play football. But with that, it was very obvious that Levit has been progressing. So this is really good news. And listen, LSU needs Sam Leavitt. That's another thing Lane Kiffin talked about in spring. At the very onset of spring, when he was asked for an update on the quarterbacks, Longstreet and Clark, this is what he said about not having Sam Leavitt.
Basically like everything in life, there's a cost and there's a benefit to everything that happens. And so, obviously we would love to have Sam and love to have him taking all the team reps fully healthy, but because he's not, it benefits them. And they've done a really good job with that. And it makes them show up because now they're up there with the ones. But it's been challenging for Sam. He's extremely competitive, so I know it bothers him that he can't do more, and that's a really good thing.
I think the question, you heard Lane Kiffin in the previous soundbite talk about, he said the previous guy or the place he was before didn't show up until summer. He's talking about Trinidad Chambliss, right? So they needed a backup option. We know the story, right? They found Chambliss on Twitter or whatever it was, and then recruited him from Ferris State, and he showed up in the summer. So Chambliss wasn't at Ole Miss's spring a year ago, and that seemed to work out okay. The other example I'll give you is Carson Beck. I mean, remember, Carson Beck was at Georgia in 2024. He had the UCL injury. I mean, he had Tommy John, basically. And not basically, he had Tommy John. He tore his UCL. So Carson Beck had to he missed that whole spring and offseason with Miami and then had to ramp up in fall camp. And remember, Carson Beck this past year at Miami had a career year. He threw for 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks. His completion percentage was 72.4. The year prior at Georgia, when he was starting in 2024, his completion percentage was 64.7. They threw almost the identical number of passes, 448 to 467. Even though they played more games at Miami last year, going all the way to the national championship game, He threw the same number of passes, and he increased his completion percentage by 8%. So Beck, without having spring, improved that next year, his first year at Miami. A lot of that is experience, and that is the gap that you have with Levit and the other two guys, Longstreet and Clark. Husan Longstreet played 4 games last year at USC. He attempted 15 passes. Really, the bulk of his attempts of his playing time came in 1 game. Landon Clark played in 16 games across 2 seasons at Elon. Trinidad Chambliss played in 23 games, started 16 times, won the Division II National Championship as the starting quarterback at Ferris State in 2024, where he threw for 2,900 yards and ran for 1,000, accounted for 51 touchdowns. I get it's Division II, but the point is, Chambliss had skins on the wall. He had played a bunch. The other guys haven't and don't. So you need Levit to achieve whatever your ceiling is in 2026. And I don't know what that ceiling is. You know, I could think back to 2024 when he was at Arizona State and they went to the college football playoff, and Levit didn't throw for 3,000 yards in that season. Remember, Cam Scadaboo ran for 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns that season. Say that again slowly. Cam Scadaboo ran for 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns in 2024. I mean, Levit's a very good player. I'm not diminishing that. I mean, he was the number 1 quarterback in the portal. But we haven't seen Sam Leavitt throw for 3,500, 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, anything like that. That type of productivity. He's going to have to prove he could do that. He's going to have to do it without the spring, but he'll have the summer, as Lane Kiffin said, to ramp up there and be full go throughout the summer. So they need Levit healthy. It appears that he's going to be on this timeline, and that's it's fantastic news. All right, it's After Further Review. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, official beer of the Tigers, official beer of the Saints. Hoodats are on the practice field today. The rookies are for the first day of rookie minicamp. If you're dreaming of a black and gold Super Bowl and you want to toast the Saints and their quarterback, Tyler Shuck, make sure you do so with delicious ice-cold Bud Light. You're going to be watching the baseball Tigers tonight, of course, or all weekend. Make sure as you watch the Tigers pull and form over there in Athens, you have plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. All right, it's After Further Review. Speaking of the Saints, I want to get a national perspective on the Saints draft and coming into this rookie minicamp. Chat with Frank Schwab when we come back next. Mikey Matuk will be here in about 45 minutes as well. It's going to be about an hour and a half, actually. Hour and 15 minutes, sorry. Not soon, but Mikey will be here later, next hour. Let me knock out a break. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 Hour Air. Tell you every day to look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You know, today's one of those days where it's raining, get a little bit of a cool off with the rain, but you look at temps into next week, getting up in the upper 80s. Was looking like Thursday, the projected high is like 87. You know, the heat index will bump into the 90s. It's here, y'all. We're moving through May. The warm temps are here. Make sure your AC is ready to go. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Have them come out for your preseason AC tune-up. They'll make sure your AC is running efficiently, effectively. They'll catch little issues before they come big, expensive issues. Extend the life of your unit. 752-0001, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime.
The experts at Hood Dental Care want you smiling bigger and healthier than ever. New patients can get a healthy gums cleaning for just $89, plus a free exam and full mouth x-rays. A $376 value. With over 3,000 five-star Google reviews, 5 local locations, and easy online scheduling with same-day care. Hood Dental makes it simple to get started. And we always have other great giveaways for new patients. Check out hooddentalcare.com and schedule your appointment today.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
The Saints opened up rookie minicamp today. Media was invited to attend. Ross Jackson has a feature up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to read it, what he saw today, all those notes. Always free over at LouisianaSports.net. Also free content at Yahoo. It's where we find Frank Schwab. He's on Twitter at Yahoo Schwab if you want to give him a follow. Frank, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Hey, what's going on?
Another day down here, man, but a lot of people excited this offseason about New Orleans in year 2 with Tyler Shuck and what type of leap they may make with Kellen Moore. 10,000-foot view, your opinion on Tyler Shuck and the ceiling there entering year 2?
Yeah, it's interesting to use the term ceiling because Shuck was an older prospect, and that was one knock I had on that pick. I was saying, well, he's not going to be, good by the time the Saints are good. Why are they using this pick on him? And he was fantastic. I was absolutely wrong. It was a great pick by them. And now, you look, and he's still older for a second-year guy, but he looks so good. And maybe that's just part of him being a little more polished than a lot of guys playing 7 different college seasons. So maybe he does. Maybe you can't, project him like you would a Caleb Williams. 3 years down the road, he's going to be much, much better. But I think he's really good. And as he goes, the team will go. I think they've started to put some good, solid talent around him on offense. ETN was a good signing. Tyson was a really, really exciting pick there at 8, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why they can't win the NFC South. The South is bad again, and the Saints were pretty good at the end of last season. I was impressed with Kellen Moore. So, I mean, to say, it's a bad division, but who cares? You win and you make the playoffs. I'm sure Saints fans would be thrilled with that in year 2 of Kellen Moore. So I don't see them being a Super Bowl contender or anything, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to think they could win the division.
Why did you like the Tyson pick?
I just think he had the highest upside of all the receivers, and if he would have been healthy his whole college career, he would have been. He wouldn't have been there at 8. I think he would have been probably where Carnell Tate was drafted, number 4. I think Tyson's a better receiver than Carnell Tate. He's just the injury. Look, the injury stuff is real, and I get why the Titans would pick Tate over Tyson because Tyson can't stay healthy, and it's a lot of recurring stuff, but. If he ends up staying healthy, I think he's got the highest upside, and I think he matches really well with Chris Olave. You look, these boom bust picks don't always work out. Maybe Tyson's just one of these guys who's always going to be hurt, right? Like it does happen that way for sure. But Christian Watson with the Packers, a good example of that. But I just, if that's the only question he hasn't answered, and the talent is obvious, then I like taking the gamble like that. You're taking a gamble on a really, really high upside guy. That it seems like a perfect fit right now for what the Saints are trying to do on offense.
Frank, you also talked about Kellen Moore. Look, for obvious reasons, he's not a guy that's going to get a lot of conversation nationally. I mean, the Saints are just, they're a losing team. He's a first-year coach. What is your opinion, if you have any, of Kellen Moore for 1 year as a head coach?
I thought he did an excellent job. I really did. Look, they were 1-7, I believe. I think it was just 1-7, maybe 1-8. And at that point, with that roster, which was really, really deficient, I thought the Saints were going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL last year. At that point, it could have gotten really ugly in the second half of the season. Look at the Jets. The Jets, were outscored by 157 points over their last 8 games. Those guys just kind of gave up. And that's always a problem, always a concern when you start that deep in a hole. When you're 1-7, we're not going to the playoffs. Like, what's the point? But he played, as you guys know, played so well down the stretch, and we're beating legitimate teams. And, really making life difficult on all these teams vying for the NFC South title, that I think that's a reflection of the coach, period. And, Kellen Moore doesn't come off as this rah-rah guy. I mean, he's kind of that new breed, I think, of coaches, like Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald, the Super Bowl winning coach, he's not a boisterous guy. If you're around him, he's kind of a flatline personality guy, but guys really respect him because of he knows what he's doing. He's a leader. He'll put you in the best positions to win. And I think the Saints found that with Kellen Moore. I think that they're playing hard for him because they knew, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy's going to be here for a while. We can win games with this guy. And I thought the progress they showed in the second half reflected so well on Moore in that hire that I'm on board. I really think that he's their guy going forward, and they should be very excited about him. And I know it's only a half season, and we'll see going forward, but that was a really, really positive step, just the way they battled in the second half when they really had nothing to play for.
Frank Schwab's here at Yahoo Schwab. You want to give him a follow there. You can read his stuff. Also, the other sort of narrative here, Frank, is about the 2 veteran players that remain to be seen what's going to happen with them in Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara. I think everyone here has made up their mind, their opinion of what should happen there. I'm curious what the conversations, if any, around the league are about those 2 players.
Yeah, and it's hard to say because the Saints have really they seem to want them around for what look, there's a young team, maybe you need some veteran presence there. And you kind of at this point, why not just go ahead? Like they are going to help you this year. I mean, it's not like the Saints have anything behind ETN at this point at running back, and Jordan's been a pro for them a really, really long time, really good player. So I think it's you just reach a point in the off season where it's like, well, we're not making any trades for these guys probably, so let's just play it out. They're 2 good players, and like I said, this team should feel like we can win the division. Why not? Like it's that 8-9 won the division last year, so you look at that. These guys can be assets for that. Alvin Kamara, his salary might not be what you want from a number 2 running back at this point, but he can still play. He's still better than whoever you would have at number 2 running back. Cam Jordan's still going to help your defense, which is a work in progress. So I'm kind of thinking the Saints just, they're going to be Saints this year and see where it goes and see, maybe at the trade deadline that there's some team that's desperate need of a running back or something. But right now, I don't see them moving just because, once you pass the draft, that stuff doesn't happen very often.
I know you do a lot of sports betting content as well. The Saints they're plus 265 to win the division. Tampa's plus money is the favorite at plus 165. A little surprised to see the Saints ahead of both Carolina and Atlanta. How do you feel about, you said like the Saints, I agree. Of course they can win the division because it's a bad division. But how do you think they stack up this year with the other 3 teams? Like what would the pecking order be for you right now, from jump at the start of the season?
It's hard. It is because all these teams are really flawed, but yet you can kind of talk yourself into a positive outlook for any of them. The Falcons really, really good late last season, beat the Rams. I think won 4 in a row, maybe 5 in a row, to end it. And I think they upgraded a coach with Stefanski, but yet you look at the quarterback situation, and you're like, Tua, really? Penix, really? These are guys? Like, I don't know about that, and they have flaws on their roster. Carolina was not a very good team over the course of last season. They had some terrible games in there. Their offense was not good. but yet they did win the division. They did beat the Packers. They did beat the Rams. They could have beat the Rams in the playoffs there. And they added. I mean, you spent a ton on Jalen Phillips, and you did some good. Devin Lloyd. They did some good things in free agency. You see, maybe they're going to be better. The Buccaneers had the most talent in the division. That roster is the best one in the division. But for some reason, they were one of the worst teams of football over the last 10 games last year. And Baker Mayfield just fell apart. I don't know why exactly. So I guess I'd go with the odds makers here and probably say the Buccaneers should be the favorite because they just do have the most talent. I don't necessarily trust that coaching staff. So that's why it's a free-for-all, because each of these teams, I can tell you the good things, and I can also tell you, this is why they're not going to be any better than 8 wins again this year. And I don't foresee anybody in this division winning 10 games. I really don't. I think whoever wins, it's going to be probably in that 9-win range. So it's anybody's. At that point, there's no team that's that bad, and there's no team that's that good. I'm kind of doing my power rankings for the summer, and we come out with their previews during the summer. And I'll just tell you, the 4 NFC South teams, I believe, are within 5 spots of each other. They're all within in the mid-20s. They're not high up, but they're all bunched together because I don't really think there's much separation between any of them.
It's Frank Schwab, Yahoo Sports at Yahoo Schwab. You want to give him a follow? Hey, before you go, I know you were sharing on Twitter a couple of days ago about the Brendan Sorsby situation. How is that perceived around NFL circles?
Oh, man. I mean, it is so complicated because there's just so many layers to it. And I think the best answer to that is they don't know. The NFL teams don't really know the scope of this thing. I think everything changes based on, okay, what's found out? Was Sorsby betting against his team when he was at Indiana, which we don't know yet? I mean, what's the scope of all of this? And NFL teams don't know that. So they're really, I think a lot of NFL teams are unprepared to answer that question if Sorsby does enter the NFL, apply for a supplemental draft entry, which rarely happens in the NFL. Does the NFL try to block that? Would that be legal? Charles Robinson, my colleague, wrote just a tremendous piece about all of the different moving parts here, and the evaluation of the players is not complete either. I think NFL teams are really looking forward to, all right, we'll see this full season. He looks like he might be a first-round type of guy, but we've heard that from guys, and then sometimes they don't do well their last season and fall a bit. And that happened with a couple, Carson Beck in this draft. Guys like that. Was that going to happen with Sorsby, or was he going to move up and solidify himself as a top 10 guy? That part is missing from the equation now. So I think NFL teams are just kind of a little bit like, we don't know. We have no idea what's happening with the off-field stuff. We don't really know about the on-field stuff. So he's just a huge mystery for them. And one they're going to have to figure out, at least by 2027. He'll be in that draft, but it's a very, very complicated situation.
Yeah, if he is ineligible for college, the supplemental draft would be a really interesting route if they do follow it that way. We'll keep tabs. He's Frank Schwab. You can follow him at Yahoo Schwab. Of course, Yahoo Sports NFL writer. We appreciate it, Frank. Thanks for the time.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Yep, it's our pleasure. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. Remember, this is industrial Generac generator power. This is a generator for your business, your commercial building, municipalities, nursing homes, grocery chains, hospitals, hotels, banks, chemical plants, gas stations, universities. I mentioned government municipalities. These are generators that are built for businesses. They like to say our business is your business. That's Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. Think about what a loss of power means to your business. At Arco, they make sure the roads are working, the phones are working, your dispatchers for 911. Life continues through a power outage, and Arco is there to make sure that happens. Everything is turnkey. They could sell, service, lease, install your Generac industrial generator, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com for Arco Power Systems. Interesting there talking to Frank Schwab. To get a national perspective on the Saints. We look at it every single day, so it's interesting to hear the perspective of someone who doesn't cover just the Saints and his opinion on Tyler Shuck and Kellen Moore, and to see if they may share some of the similar opinions that a lot of people here do. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway, is you have this pretty consistent sort of unanimous feeling of optimism around Tyler Shuck. I mean, he started 9 games last year. So a little more than half this. He played in 11. He started 9. So you don't have a very big sample, but you have enough of a sample to say, I want to see more, and it's worth investing. And that's what the Saints are doing. So they are going to be a really interesting team, the Saints, this year, because Frank's right about all those pieces in the NFC South to say nobody's great. I mean, Carolina has the third best odds out of 4 teams to win the division. They're the reigning division champs. So, yeah, I mean, it's a wide open division. One of these teams got to go to the playoffs. Might as well be the Saints. And if Tyler Shuck builds upon what he did last year, then there's no reason it couldn't be them sort of elevating this year in year 2 of Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck. Plenty to talk about throughout the offseason. Saints did have rookie minicamp today. Kellen Moore met with reporters after. We'll get some of that a bit later in the show. Let me knock out a quick break. Friday show is brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. When we come back, go around the SEC, and another national analyst really likes LSU as a college football playoff team. You'll hear from him next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Slow internet is the worst. I get it. It's first world problems. When you see the little spinning wheel, you don't have just an immediate click and load. It's just maddening. Rev Fiber, take care of that. You look outside a day like this on Friday where there's torrential rain, you're hearing the flood warnings everywhere, hail all over the place, might be power outages. What does that mean for phone, internet, cable, all that stuff in your home or your business? Well, if you ever had Rev Fiber, it means nothing. Because when they lay their fiber, it's buried under the ground, so you don't have to worry about outages. You don't have to worry about a tree falling on the cable line. It's all buried under the ground. So you get a better product, lightning fast internet speed, better price, local service. Why haven't you called Rev yet? It's Rev Fiber, R-E-V, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. To see their service areas and to learn more, check them out online at RevFiber.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
If your office is experiencing performance issues, like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So, of course.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Earlier this week, Pete Butak, College Football News, came on the show, said he thinks LSU is a national championship contender. Chris Doering of the SEC Network came on the show this week and said LSU under Lane Kiffin year one, playoff or bust. They should be a championship contender. Josh Pate was on with our buddies Crane and Cone, and he agrees.
I try and be a little reasonable in expectations so I don't get my heart broken in September. So what I'm going to choose to expect from them is a lot of flashes, hopefully not disaster, but a peak of what's possible early in the season. Hopefully that comes in a win. But like the way I think about that as it manifests itself in the Clemson game is they win 23-16, but it's the kind of game where the four of us are talking afterwards and we're saying they won and they could have played so much better. You saw so many missed opportunities. Okay, well, that's the entry point for LSU. Now, if they're able to stay relatively healthy, they should do what a newly built team should do. And that is scale, scale, scale. And then you just hope you get to that November inflection point. I think at their high end, they can compete for a national title.
Josh Pate, another one. Thinking LSU could very well compete for a national title year one under Lane Kiffin. It's, I really try, look, I picked the team a year ago to go to the playoff. So that was the baseline expectation. You had all that investment, and I thought they would lose the opener to Clemson and thought they'd lose one more along the way and go 10-2. That was my preseason pick for LSU, and they'd be in the playoff. Obviously, that didn't happen. Now, Nussmeier having the season he did, we later learned the cyst and all that stuff, was just a giant part of that. I mean, all throughout fall camp, the conversation we had was, I think the way I described it was there was a Grand Canyon-sized drop-off from Garrett Nussmeier to Michael Van Buren. And you very clearly saw that. It's fair to wonder, man, and maybe in the annals of LSU history, it'll be a great what-if. Like, what if Ryan Perrilloux didn't get kicked off the team in 2008? How different does LSU football look through that? What if Bo Ryan hadn't tragically died in that plane crash in 1980? There's plenty of those, right, throughout history. And maybe we'll look at the butterfly effect of Garrett Nussmeier having the season that he did with the cyst as part of that. What if Nussmeier was healthy and that offense churned better and was a complementary piece to the defense that finished top 30 in total defense nationally? Are they a playoff team? Is Brian Kelly still the coach? Is Lane Kiffin not here? Is Lane Kiffin at Florida maybe? Who knows? Different convos, different days. So I try to maybe give myself a little bit of pause as we're projecting and talking about this throughout the offseason. But the thing Josh said that I do find myself agreeing with is the timeline of how things could go. Because I think the way that I've said it is, I think October is really manageable. Now, you do have a road trip to Auburn, and you got A&M at home, and I'm not saying that's easy. But A&M lost a ton from this past year's team. And Auburn, new coach, new system, new quarterback, a lot of new there. You're going to be favored on the road in that game, right? So I think October is manageable. So if you can get through September with all your new, you should win at home against Clemson. Can you take care of Ole Miss on the road week 3? If you get through September, you should be able to dodge the landmines in October, which sets up for a massive November with a brutal schedule. Bama, Texas, at Tennessee, at Arkansas to finish. So, yeah, I tend to agree that you hope you're hitting your November inflection point, but you have to get there relatively unscathed because it's hard to imagine navigating November without stepping on a landmine. But another respected voice looking at these Tigers going, yeah, year one under Kiffin. Why not? They should be there. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a second. We are brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. How about everyone who's listening, watching in the New Orleans area? You know, so many people, you live in the city, maybe you start having a family and think, I think I'd maybe like to live on the North Shore and commute. Well, First South Farm Credit is a great option to help you maybe buy that land. They have an office there in a meet. You want to buy that land in St. Tammany or Tangipahoa Parish and commute into the city where you have the city amenities but the rural lifestyle. First South Farm Credit can help you do that. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land? Make sure your first call is to First South Farm Credit. They have been first in agriculture, first in land lending for more than 100 years. First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Defensive lineman Jeremiah Beeman is ahead of schedule on his road to recovery. Was injured, actually started the opener against Florida State a year ago, and then suffered a torn ACL, was lost for his redshirt freshman season. But according to the coaches there, ahead of schedule on his road to recovery, and should be top speed whenever the Crimson Tide open a fall camp.
The Florida Gators.
Running back Andrew Beard, 4-star out of Georgia for the class of 2027. He's committed to the Florida Gators. Picked Florida over Clemson, Georgia, and Tennessee. 14th pledge of the class for the Gators, the 9th best running back in the country, the 165th overall prospect.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Forward Trevor Reed set to join Mississippi State next season. One of two family members will be wearing the maroon and white. He's a 6'8", 215-pounder. His younger brother Tristan also signing to play with the Bulldogs as part of the high school class. So let's see. Started 19 games this past year, led the team in points scored, was second in rebounds. Trevor Reed joining Mississippi State.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Guard Quincy Wadley has committed to Oklahoma. He was the top available remaining recruit for the 2026 basketball class, the number 43 overall prospect in the country. He is Oklahoma's highest-rated signee since Trey Young back in 2017. He's a 6'4" guard out of Virginia.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Mark Pope keeps having to answer the question why he doesn't have a traditional general manager as they keep missing out on prospects. Well, the staff is organized with several people supporting Mark Pope, but in 2 seasons, 46 and 26, and he's brought in 4 players during the current portal cycle, while 7 have left. Pressure, heat, ramping up there on Mark Pope in Lexington. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Remember, no Terrio today. The LHSAA state track meet is today, and the Terrio's youngest, Georgia, is competing for Parkview Baptist. So I know there was a weather delay in the track meet and all that, but Terrio's out there, and so we'll miss him today, but we'll have him back next week, and we'll look forward to that. So no Terrio today. We got a ton to get to. Remember, LSU and Georgia, game 1 is at 5 Central. So an hour and 16 minutes away from first pitch for LSU and Georgia in a massive game. Of course, it's Jay Johnson going against his former assistant, Wes Johnson, who's now the head coach at Georgia, who talked, Wes Johnson, in his media availability Thursday night, talked about this LSU team and his observations.
Let's not forget, as I've told a lot of people, they were preseason number 1 in a lot of polls, and they're extremely talented. I just finished their offensive breakdown. Got as good offensive bats as anybody we've seen in the league. For whatever reason, their record doesn't show that. Obviously we're not there. We're not their practices or know what's going on in their locker room, clubhouse, so to speak, or any of that kind of stuff. So I just know this: they're ultra talented. They've got a really good lineup, and yeah, it's going to be a really good test.
Bulldogs have an opportunity to win the SEC this weekend. They have been awesome. They're 18-6. They're leading the conference. Haven't pitched it certainly as well as they've hit it, but they're arguably the best offensive team in the country. So a massive challenge for William Schmidt here today against that Bulldog lineup. First pitch again about an hour and 15 minutes away from right now. Let me knock out a break. Some news out of New Orleans today. It was the open of rookie minicamp, and got some contract news we want to dabble in for the Saints. We'll get to that next on AFR.
After further review.
With a monsoon like this, ain't nobody swimming in the pool. You might be swimming down the street in these flash flood waters. Be careful out there, by the way. And our friends over at Duplessis Builders are certainly not digging today either in a monsoon like this. But it's dry inside, and it's certainly dry enough for you to grab your phone or go to your computer and hit up duplessisbuilders.net. Tell you about the website every day because they did an awesome thing building out that functionality on the site for pools and for outdoor kitchens, by the way. But if you go to the website, you'll see the Pick Your Pool tab right there on the homepage. There's 11 different pool designs you can choose from. Now, if you want to do something custom, you can design your own pool, do something totally custom with Duplessis. They're awesome. But they have, it's a really cool function to sort of play around with. There's 11 different pool designs. You can go through and choose all of your features and finishes and design it right there on the website right now. It's duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Saints opened up rookie minicamp today, and they did also announce 7 draft class signings. Now, this used to be way more eventful. It's just not anymore because rookie contracts are capped under the current CBA, as we remind you all the time. You used to have holdouts. You just don't see that rookies anymore because rookie contracts are capped and their slot value. So basically, all these guys know exactly what they're going to make based on their draft slot. So the Saints did, in fact, announce 7 draft signings. Say the lone unsigned selection is Christian Miller. There's this. Remember, this became a thing last year because the only contracts that are guaranteed are first rounders in the NFL, where every dollar of the rookie deal is guaranteed. And last year, this kind of became a little bit of a conversation with guys at the top of round 2 getting their deals 100% guaranteed. For what it's worth, a year ago, the number 42 selection, which is where Miller went this year, was Mason Taylor out of LSU.
Mason Taylor!
And he earned 91% of his deal. By the way, shout out Ross Jackson, has all this at Louisiana Sports.net. So Mason Taylor's deal was 91% guaranteed. The year before was 55% at that value. So you're starting to see second-round pick guaranteed money go up. So that's the one holdout right now is Christian Miller, and it's really just that. It's how much of that deal is going to be guaranteed. So, but the Saints were out there on the practice field today. About an hour's worth of work that the media got to watch. A lot of individual. There's some practice video that you're seeing out there. And after the rookie camp practice, Ellen Moore did, in fact, meet with the media, kind of gave an overview of the day.
All right, welcome back to some football. We had 55 guys here today, so it was an awesome day. Obviously, about an hour work. We'll do one more day tomorrow, very similar, and so a bunch of good stuff. Good to get those guys out there. The thing that always shows up in this thing is they've been basically track athletes for the last 3 months, so we got to build this thing up as we go, acclimate these guys. But other than that, it was some good work.
And then he did give the update on Christian Miller.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just a couple of these guys, you come in and you just put guys in different levels as far as the maintenance plan just to make sure these guys are ramping up the right way. And so that's part of this process when these guys come in is just, checking in on them from a body standpoint. And so he wasn't out there necessarily doing any field work, but he'll be fine.
They did follow up at the end of the press conference about Miller, basically insinuating is that actually an injury?
Miller, just to clarify, is it an injury or is it just
No, he just had a little injury coming in. Nothing big. Yeah.
Okay. So not a holdout because of obviously the contract isn't signed. So that is part of the ongoing conversation. But even if that contract wasn't signed, he could still be on the field for rookie camp today and this weekend. But not there today because of, as Kellen Moore said, a little bit of an injury situation. So something to monitor as we move forward. It is after further review. Hey, just real quickly, it is storming today, as you well know. If you're in it, you've seen it. Want to remind you, Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. It's me and Terrio and Tilly and our great staff, Joe, everybody. This is the time of year where our phones go crazy because it rains every day. And every time it rains is when people realize they have roof leaks. So let me remind you of a few things. First of all, I would love it if you would call us at Parrish. We were honored to be named the best roofing company in the Advocates Best of Baton Rouge. That was voted on by you. So thank you for that. We won Best of Ascension earlier in the year. So thank you for that. But even if you don't call us, please call a reputable local roofing company. Door knockers are out, especially when there's weather like today. And so often you have people that do shoddy work, people that are unlicensed, and that if you have an issue are gone, never to be heard from again. So we would love it if you would give us the opportunity to earn your business at Parrish Construction and Roofing. But even if you don't call us, call a local, licensed, reputable company that you know will be here in the event that something's wrong in the future. Parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. You go to the website, fill out the form on the homepage. We'll be in touch with you just immediately. Parrishbuilt.com. Do business. That's why we say do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing. Parrishbuilt.com. Parrishbuilt.com. That said, no Terrio today, as I mentioned, because of the state track meet. Georgia Terrio's running today. So good luck to Georgie. Trying trying to end her career with like her 11 bajillionth state championship, soccer, track, individual, all this stuff. I mean, the cross country, I mean, the Terriers, just hanging banners left and right everywhere. Mikey Mahtook in 35 minutes. We will talk to Alan Faneca in hour number 3. When we come back, Will Wade does it again, man. For the third consecutive day, a public commitment for Will Wade is continuing to add on to the roster. And you're starting to see a very common theme with the players that Will Wade is adding. So we're going to dive into that a little bit when we come back right after the top of the hour. There's one more, well, actually there's a couple more Saints contract things I want to talk about. They restructured Pete Werner's contract today, and I think that has actually a pretty clear indication of where that's headed for the future with Pete Werner.
After further review.
As we wrap up hour number 2, we remind you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Hey, y'all, Sunday is Mother's Day. I want to remind you that, of course, you know that. Maybe you're cooking for mom. Great. Get by Rouse's. They got boiled crawfish, but they got fresh lobster at Rouse's. If you want to go pick your lobster and prepare it at home, you can do that. Maybe you want flowers. Market fresh roses at all 76 Rouse's location. So you want to get flowers, maybe a lobster dinner, flowers, maybe a bottle of wine, maybe mimosas for mom for lunch, whatever it may be. You're having brunch. Rouse's has everything you need. You're making groceries this weekend. You can always go to the website or the app, see the weekly ad with how you can save as you're doing your grocery shopping there at Rouse's. And remember to shop the Rouse's branded products so you're supporting great local businesses as well. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. We have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit, nor by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. Running back Breece Hall is staying with the Jets. Agent Nicole Lynn of Clutch Sports says Hall is getting a 3-year, $45.75 million extension, which includes $29 million in guarantees. Meanwhile, the NFL will not be using replacement referees. The League of the Referees Association have ratified a 7-year collective bargaining agreement, and the NFL schedule will be released on Thursday for 2026. To the NBA, it's the Knicks and the 76ers tonight. ESPN's Myra Metcalf says anything less than at least a trip to the finals will be a failed season in New York.
You fired Tiz because you said he wasn't good enough to get you to the finals. You brought in Mike Brown, who Sacramento had fired, and you said this is the guy, right? If they don't get to the finals, I mean, this to me is a failure of a season, and it's a failure of a coaching hire.
Joel Embiid remains questionable for tonight. You can hear the game on ESPN Radio. Our coverage is getting underway in about 90 minutes. Also tonight, the Spurs and the Timberwolves. That series tied at a game apiece. The Mavericks have hired former Blazers assistant GM Mike Schmitz to oversee their franchise's day-to-day operations. Hockey tonight, Canadians and Sabres, Buffalo up 1-0. Knights and Ducks, series tied at 1.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Monday as the NBA playoffs roll on, I'll tell you why what happens at the draft lottery will have the biggest impact on the offseason. Plus, Canty is back from Japan. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by One Cigar Bar Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Mikey Matuk, 30 minutes from right now. Alan Faneca in 1 hour. Also 1 hour away from first pitch. LSU and Georgia, game 1 there in Athens. On Ontario today, if you're just knocking off work, jumping in the car, truck, van, heading home, or wherever you may be going this weekend, state track meet is this weekend. So Georgia, Ontario, and the Parkview Baptist Eagles are running. So we wish Georgie good luck and all the high school athletes that will be competing this weekend. Stay safe, do great, represent your family, your school, everybody, and good luck to all of them. So Terry will be back with us next week. Well, earlier this week, Will Wade was a guest on John Rothstein's podcast, talked about it at the time, said he had 7 or 8 players committed, even though there was only one public commitment in Mo Diabate. Well, after that, subsequently, every day there's been another public commitment that has leaked out, and that continued on Friday with another player being added. Believe it was Joe Tipton who had it first earlier today, but Joe Tipton reported that Kansas State transfer guard Abdi Bashir has picked the LSU Tigers. Now, I'll give you the thumbnail here on Abdi Bashir. He is a Kansas State transfer guard, committed to LSU, 6'7". As a junior this past year at K-State, averaged 13 points per game, shot 44% from 3. 2 years ago, he was one of the top scorers in the country when he averaged over 20 points per game at Monmouth. So you're talking about a guy who is entering his junior year of college and has been an elite level scorer from the wing, 6'7", can fill it up from 3. And we've seen this pretty consistent theme here with the ads that Will Wade has gotten so far, and they're offensive players. Will Wade's NC State team this past season was 242nd in points allowed at 76.3 points per game. And if you remember, one of the criticisms people had of Will Wade first go around here was he didn't defend, especially didn't defend the three-point line. So naturally, he's adding scores. All these guys so far we've talked about, as we have talked about guys like Divine Ogachukwu, who comes in from Michigan State. I don't like it. Divine Ugo or Ogu? Was it? Oh, it starts with a U, right? Ugochukwu. That's it. Which one do we get? Which one do we like?
I'm still torn, man. I think it's the longer one, though.
Okay. I'm kind of there, too. All that to say, there's still a ways to go before they fill out the roster, but you're talking about about guys so far they've added that seem to be singularly focused on the offensive end that might struggle a bit defensively. Remember Jeff Goodman gave us the full report on the first pickup of the week, the Brazilian player Marcio Santos, who's been playing internationally in Israel. Said big body, 23 years old, been playing professionally since he's 15, but doesn't defend a lick. He basically takes time off on one end of the floor. By the way, I'm nailing these names. I mean, we are rolling. Can I get some type of love here? A little bit. Give me some dings. I've nailed Marcio Santos. I've named Divine Ugachukwu. Now we're talking about Kansas State transfer guard Abdi Bashir. For what it's worth, I was at the Our Lady of the Lake Big Bash on Thursday night at Football Ops. I did see our bud, Will Wade.
Hey, Will. Hey, bud.
And I went up to him. I hadn't seen him since the introductory press conference. I said, hey, man, you going to sign some guys who have names I can pronounce? Making me look bad on the radio. He kind of laughed and was like, you're going to have to work on your pronunciation skills because there's more to come. I was like, okay. Thank you, sir. So Abdi Bashir is the latest. And Jerome Tang, who's the former Kansas State head coach, last year, before this past season, was talking about his transfers. And, of course, Abdi Bashir was coming in from Monmouth to Kansas State. And this is what Tang had to say about Bashir's game before this past season.
Abdi's playing style, I best describe it with one word, and that, he's a bucket. He can score it from all three levels, and the ball comes out of his hands real easy. He has a beautiful shot, but he also loves making plays for his teammates, and his leadership skills are going to be very evident on the court.
Love to hear that. And then that does very nicely dovetail into Jerome Tang talking about Abdi Bashir's character.
Off the court, Abdi's a very caring young man. To give you an example, when PJ was showing up to move in, Abdi rearranged his schedule so he can be there to help him move his stuff into the apartment. Just a very caring young man off the court.
So looks like you got a guy that can fill it up from all three levels and a pretty good teammate as well, according to Jerome Tang, his head coach there at Kansas State. Will Wade adding players. Now, the last two we've talked about are scorers, but they're both guards. And as we well know, Will Wade likes having really good guard play.
You don't have a real guard. Does that matter?
You don't have a real guard.
You don't have a
you haven't seen Javante play or Cam play this year?
Yeah, but you want him to shoot. You like him to score. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the point. You got to have more points than the other team.
Oh, where's the rest of it?
Oh, I didn't know you wanted the whole minute.
Yeah!
Oh, hold tight. That's a quick grab.
The whole thing. How the hell do you play that without the what's your question? Muse, don't ever play that soundbite again without Wade taking a shot at Cobble. All right, let me hear.
What are you looking for out of your team? And if guard play wins in March, you don't have a real guard. Does that matter?
You don't have a real guard.
You don't have
you haven't seen Javante play or Cam play this year?
Yeah, but you want him to shoot. You like him to score. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's the point. You got to have more points than the other team. So you got to have guys that can shoot and score. Damn, that's been our philosophy around here. It's not like we're grinding people out in the 60s. What do you mean we don't have good guards? You're right, we don't have good guards. We got great guards.
I didn't say you don't have.
We got two of the best guards in our league, two of the best guards in the country. What's your question?
What's the one thing you want to see out of your team improved here
Well, rebounding. Rebounding, that would be great. Be a little bit better rebounding in March, we'd be in business.
Why is that the best ever?
Poor Cobble.
No!
Poor Cobble, man.
He brings it on himself.
He just draws the ire of these LSU coaches.
He brings it on himself.
Oh, man.
You don't have any real guards. What is that? Will did appropriately what he should have done there, which was just bloody Cobble's nose in the press conference. But seriously, tell me that soundbite, joking aside, doesn't play right now. Look at the players. That was, what year was that? Is that labeled on the year?
No, I don't have it labeled.
Well, there's Will telling
2021.
21. Okay. So 5 years ago, that's Will Wade saying, this is our style. We don't grind people out. We're not playing in the 60s. We're trying to score. So what's he doing? He's not recruiting guys that are going to go be just hammers on the defensive end. He's looking for guys that can score. So he's going and getting scores. What do you need to improve? Rebounding. So go get some big bodies that can grab some boards and get it to your scorers. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We are brought to you by Parish Restoration. Hey, if you do have water intrusion with these storms, remember Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Excuse me, kill mold, remove odor. If you need mold restoration, remediation, they can help you. It's mold remediation done right the first time. It's Parish Restoration. Log on parishrestoration.com. You can fill out the form. They'll be in touch with you. They'll give you that estimate. It's more cost-effective. It's more effective. It's more efficient. It's their safe, dry fog, patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. It's Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. All right, it's after further review. Mikey Matuk will be with us here in about 18 minutes to talk about LSU baseball as we're less than an hour away from first pitch game one with LSU and Georgia over in Athens. Let me knock out a break. We'll come back. And Pete Werner, the Saints restructured his contract today. What does that mean for Werner's future and the future of the linebacker position with the Saints? I want to dive into that a bit when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
I was checking the text line earlier, and literally in the last break, and I got a message from someone saying that you heard me talking about the peptides that I'm on and basically how it's helped my back. I'm trying to get his name exactly. Forgive me, I can't find it right now. But in any event, the point being, I'm so glad that people are asking me a lot now about peptides and about a lot of the different things, biohacking and whatnot, that I've done that have been great for me. And peptides are at or near the top of the list. And it's becoming so much more in vogue, so much more mainstream. People are having that conversation. What I need you to know is if you're interested in learning more about peptides, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has all of them. So, and there's a peptide for darn near anything. So log on to yourgoodwood.com, or call, get the answers to your questions, get started today. yourgoodwood.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with...
Hey, if you're looking for work, remember, River Parish Contractors is looking for you. Maybe you got a good job right now, but the good job you got right now, they don't want you to work overtime. I don't have to worry about that at River Parish Contractors. You want to work overtime? They got it. You can work as much of it as you want at River Parish Contractors. And they are hiring for all types of positions right now. Pipe fitters, boiler makers, crane operators, pipe cutters, welders. Check them out at River Parish Contractors. They got day shifts, night shifts if you want to work when it's cooler. There are no rainouts. They have full benefits, 401k, health insurance. They're awesome people, and you're home with your family every night. Why wouldn't you go work for River Parish Contractors? Interested? Call Big Jake at 318-547-1000, 318-547-1000, 318-547-1000. Call Big Jake at River Parish Contractors, 318-547-1000.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Countdown to first pitch, LSU and Georgia game 1. Mikey Mahtook will be here with us in about 13 minutes to preview that game. I think we'll wait for the lineup to be posted as well. I think most relevant, obviously, is will Omar Cerna be in the lineup? I'm assuming he will be. When Jay Johnson last talked about it on Wednesday before they left, he basically said that Cerna was limited because his back wasn't feeling great, so they held him on Tuesday. Okay, I have a feeling Omar Cerna is going to be ready to go in this game. And you're going to need him, man. You're going against the best offensive team in the league. It is unrealistic. Georgia, as a team, cumulatively, it's 325. They lead the league in hits and runs and homers. It is unrealistic to think you're just going to go handcuff this offense and they're not going to score in their own ballpark. So you are going to have to keep pace. You are going to need to be at your best offensively and not miss opportunities. Yeah, you need Omar Cerna in the lineup today and all weekend. So here's hoping he's good to go. We'll talk about that with Mikey coming up here in just a bit. With Saints rookie minicamp opening here on Friday, the other piece of news that popped up is that Spotrac reported earlier today that the Saints have restructured Pete Werner's contract. So let me go through the terms, and then we'll go through what this means for both the short and long term of Pete Werner. So remember, in restructuring a contract, what you do is you convert salary into a signing bonus. So it lowers the cap hit for that year and allows you to pay that money or apply that money to future caps. The benefit for the team is they get cap relief. The benefit to the player is they get all the money now. So Pete Werner's game checks this season will be less because his roster number is going to be like $1.2 million, something like that. But he gets a $5 million check today, $5.035 million. Okay, so this year his cap hit goes down to $3.9 million. In 2027, it's 9.2, and then avoidable year in 2028 at 5.3. So effectively, this created $4.028 million in cap space for this year. So it's a situation where the Saints going into rookie minicamp are looking at this and saying, all right, well, you got to sign. Remember, you have to have enough cap space to sign all your rookies. And then in addition to, which they did, they signed 7 of the 8 here on Friday. And then in addition to that, what if you want to re-sign Cam Jordyn at some point? We got to have money to do it. What if there's another free agent you may want to add? What if you make a trade? Like, you got to have a little space there. And so this freed up space. It gives them more than enough room, to do what they want to do. Because remember, you only count the top 51 contracts against the cap until the roster cuts start. So right now it's just your top 51 contracts. So they're well within the cap. They got about $14 million in cap space available right now. So if there's a veteran they want to sign, they can do it. If it's Cam Jordyn they want to re-sign, they can do it. Plenty of options for New Orleans there financially as a result of this move. But I think the more interesting component here is what it means for Pete Werner. Because effectively, in re-signing or restructuring Pete Werner and moving money into next year, into 2027, there is no more conversation about potentially trading Pete Werner. And there was some of that conversation because New Orleans is going to have to decide, as you extended his rookie deal, are you going to sign Pete Werner to a long-term contract? Remember, you just watched Demario Davis walk in free agency, and you added Caden Ellis in free agency. So you got younger there. And you've got some young players at linebacker that might have an opportunity. They really like Danny Stutzman. We've talked about Jalen Ford in the past. Do they go into the draft next year? Looking at linebacker help earlier in the draft, maybe. How does Lorenzo Styles fit in? Is he, is he a safety? Is he that slot? Is he sort of a hybrid player? I don't know. The point is, they'll figure that out after this season now, because with the way that they restructured Pete Werner's contract, it effectively guarantees that he will be on the team in 2026. That maybe felt obvious, but it wasn't exactly obvious. At least it was a talking point. Now there is no more conversation around there because financially it does not behoove you to part ways with Pete Werner now after this restructure. So Pete Werner, it will be on the team this year. 2027 becomes fascinating because his salary number, his cap number, and his dead number are basically the same for 2027. So 2026 for Pete Werner becomes a year where, for New Orleans, you got to decide, is this someone you want on your roster long term? Is this someone that you want to extend again? Or is this a thing where you go into 2027 with Caden Ellis and Danny Stutzman as your off-the-ball linebackers? So it's a big year for Pete Werner, not only in New Orleans, but for whatever the next iteration of his career is going to be in New Orleans or elsewhere. But the decision today effectively guarantees Pete Werner is going to be in New Orleans for the 2026 season, and the possibility of trading him, that's out the window at this point. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. New Orleans also on Friday, this was the deadline. They had for teams to decide if they were going to pick up the fifth-year option for first-round draft picks. So for the Saints, this was Tyrie Wilson, and they just traded for him in the draft, gave up a fifth-round pick. So the option then transferred from the Raiders to the Saints. The Raiders had not yet made a decision on Tyrie Wilson's fifth-year option. The Saints made that decision today, and they declined to pick up Tyrie Wilson's fifth-year option. Remember, a fifth-year option is the average salary of the average of the top 5 salaries at that position in the NFL. So New Orleans decided not to pay Tyrie Wilson that. They'll have an opportunity as the season goes along or after the season, based on how the year goes, to make a determination. This is basically a one-year rent player. You're renting. You gave up a fifth-round pick to rent Tyrie Wilson for a season, and it's maybe like a rent-to-own situation where you gave up a fifth-round pick to rent him this year and the possibility of a long-term deal if it works out this year. And if not, well, then you gave up a fifth-round pick, and fifth-round picks, day 3 picks, are generally a lower hit rate anyway, so it's a bit of a crapshoot. This feels like less of a risk because you got a guy that's a more veteran player can he sort of flourish in Brandon Staley's defense? You get some on-the-job training, some real-world experience to make that determination if you want to invest long-term. But Saints decline the fifth-year option for Tyrie Wilson. All right, it's after further review. We are brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. I was driving around earlier today in the torrential rain. There was water pooling on the interstate by Acadian, like up against that retaining wall right there. Puddles splashing everywhere. Driving my Volkswagen Atlas Crossport, took it like a champ. I mean, right through that puddle, had no loss of control at all whatsoever. When you drive a Volkswagen, you are driving among the safest vehicles on the road. The highest safety designation you can get by the IIHS with the top safety picks. You get the style, feel, performance of luxury, great value, manufactured in the US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant, and the peace of mind knowing you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road. So parents, maybe you're buying a vehicle, that first vehicle for your son or daughter who's going to be a high school graduate, or trying to set your college graduate up for the next stage of life by surprising them with a vehicle. Check out a Volkswagen from South Point Volkswagen. Sedans, SUVs, compact, midsize, full-size SUVs. Got everything that you want there at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it is after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Friday edition of AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll chat with Alan Faneca in about 35 minutes from right now at the top of hour 3. When we come back, though, as LSU gets set for a massive series on the road against Georgia, former Tiger great Mikey Mahtook will jump aboard with us to preview it and tell us what we should be looking for with the Tigers against the Bulldogs in Athens this weekend. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. You can always go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or if you'd rather, call 888-8888, 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon, of course, so philanthropic, so community-focused and oriented. We tell you all the time about Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Remember, Gordon's also an investor in Court to Table. We'll be there on Thursday for our show, so 6 days away. We'll be there at Court to Table for AFR next Thursday with our friends over at Mockler Beverage and the Court to Table folks. So hopefully you'll come by and join us at Court to Table. And if you haven't been yet, highly recommend you go. The food is outstanding. Whether you play pickleball or not, doesn't matter. They got pickleball if you're into that. The restaurant is outstanding if you're just looking for a great meal for the whole family. The bar area, awesome place to watch any game. Check it out, Court to Table, and our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
I think we've taken the bullets, been dragged through the mud, head stepped on, all of those things, and we're still alive. And, you know, who's the best soldier? The best soldier is the one that's not afraid to be killed. There's literally nothing to be afraid of. So go in there, you know, guns blazing with a lot of confidence and play. And if it's good enough, it'll be good enough. If it's not, it won't. But there's literally nothing to be afraid of at this point in time for this team.
A tad dramatic. But get his point. Mikey Mahtook's good enough to hang out with us here for a couple minutes, former Tiger great. Yo, dude, how are you?
How you doing, man? How y'all doing?
Doing really well. I'll be doing awesome if the Tigers find a way to win this series. You know, the last time LSU missed the postseason was 2011. Yep.
Don't remind me.
No, you were on the team. So, but what I would like though is some perspective just on what it was like going through the stretch run of that season for that team that maybe these guys are thinking about right now.
Yeah, and look, it was a little bit different then. You know, we had a very young. Obviously, the portal wasn't a thing back then, so. You know, it was you had to bring them in, you had to recruit, you had to develop, and then some years you have years where you have a rotation full of freshmen, which is we had in 2011. That was Kevin Gosman's first year, and Kurt McCune was our Friday night guy. You had Gosman pitching, and then you had Ryan Eads was also a freshman. So we had talent, but we were just a bunch of young guys and guys just trying to find their way. And we ended up going 36-20. I think we had a pretty good RPI, and it's just. At that time in SEC baseball, they only had 8 teams go to the tournament, and we were the 9th team in the SEC, and so we didn't make it and didn't get the at-large bid. But from what I remember from that year is, similar to this year, extremely talented, like I said, but young. And so we started the season off well and then went through some really tough times in the SEC because we weren't able to win close games, right? And I think that's the common theme that you're seeing with this team, right? They've lost a ton of close games, and the record could be a little bit different if 3 or 4 games the ball bounced a different way. And but at the end of that year in 2011, I think Kevin Gosman's last 4 starts of the season, he had like a 1.1 ERA or something like that, and we were playing really good baseball. Freshmen started playing better, and we didn't get the at-large bid and didn't get an opportunity to go in. Now you have more teams from the SEC get at-large bids. You have everybody makes the tournament. And so if they can kind of repeat that where the freshmen start to figure it out, which it seems like the last couple of weeks they're starting to do that, and put themselves in a position to get that at-large, right, to get the 13 wins and maybe win 1 or 2 games in the tournament and get in the tournament and get into the postseason, then, at that point anything can happen, especially when these young guys start playing with a bunch of confidence.
What's the biggest difference you've noticed since they put the freshmen in, Mikey?
For me, it just seems like when you bring a bunch of guys in from the portal that are so-called established, whether it be at a smaller school or a bigger school in a different conference, and they come and transfer here, they have a certain plan, right, when they come here. Hey, I'm going to go there, I'm going to get paid, I'm going to play well, I'm going to get drafted high, and I'm going to go to the next level. And they kind of already have this built-in idea of who they are as a player, and they don't really want to stray from that because that's got them to where they're at. these freshmen come in, and especially when they're, from Louisiana and just trying to get on the field, and they're getting this opportunity, and they don't have a preconceived notion about who they are. At this point, they're just trying to grind to get onto the field and play. And what it looks like are these guys are doing anything and everything they can to be productive and do whatever they need to do to win the game. Whether that be, ugly looking at bat, but put the ball in play with 2 strikes and get the guy in from third base, whether it be an infield single, a drag bunt, whatever it may be. It just feels like those guys are bought in a little bit more to whatever it takes. And, you get that a lot when you're a freshman. So it's nice to see those guys. And then as the more innings they play and the more at-bats they get, the more confident they're going to be. And you're going to start seeing them take some bigger swings and have some bigger moments.
You've noticed a different offensive approach from the young guys?
I have, and I think it's trickled down a little bit to some of the other guys too, because you see Rucker go in there and he's grinding out with 2 strikes, and he's fighting his way on base. You see William Patrick go up there and letting balls get deep, and he's chopping balls into the ground with 2 strikes, but he's trying to beat it out, and he's getting infield singles, and he's doing these things where he's hitting the ball at the catcher's mitt to the second baseman, but the guy from third base scores, right? And it just feels like they're just grinding and battling and trying to survive. And by doing that, they're doing the little things that wins baseball games. And so that it feels like you're seeing that. I mean, you're seeing guys all up and down the lineup hit balls opposite field, let the ball get deeper with 2 strikes. I believe it was maybe last weekend. Reeves goes down the count, battled his way through it, and shot a ball through the 6-hole with the shift, and had an RBI with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And it just feels like the lineup's buying into that approach. Now, obviously, they're still going to drive balls out of the ballpark, hit balls in the gap when the count and the situation asks for it. But when there's a situation where the guy on third base with less than 2, which we have not been good for the majority of the year, the last month they've been significantly better. At that point, just hit the ball on the ground, if the infield's back, and get them in. And it seems like that's what they're doing a lot more of, and you're seeing the results.
Mikey Mahtook's with us. Does William Patrick remind you of you?
That's a hard question. Listen, I guess if you look at appearance and what he, how he plays on the field, I think there are some similarities. I've been told that from a bunch of different people.
Okay.
Very athletic outfielder, obviously. Fast, big, strong, a little bit raw. Very similar to how I was when I got to LSU, and loves LSU. And it just feels like like I said, he's grinding everything he can do to stay in the lineup. And he got some opportunities early because he's athletic and can play defense. But yeah, I guess I can see some similarities there. It's just I don't like. That's a hard question talking about. I don't like talking about myself that way. But yeah, maybe.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty easy to see the comps, though. You're talking about a big, physical outfielder who can really run and came here ready to play with a good power stroke and tons of upside. I mean, dude, you became a first-round pick. Like it's I think people sort of model that way. It would be interesting to see. Well, let me ask you then this way: is there another player that's played at LSU that maybe Patrick reminds you of?
Honestly, I guess the comp coming in as a freshman, right? Only seeing a limited amount of time of him, in the lineup, and seeing the type of skill set he has. I mean, I guess there would be, I would probably be the comp. Yeah. If I had to say it. I mean, it's just, he's very athletic. He's a good kid. I've gotten to know him a little bit, and he's going out there and he's taken every opportunity and every role and everything Jay wanted him to do early on in the season. Did that, got better, and now he's getting valuable experience. And hopefully, the end of his freshman year can be like the end of my freshman year.
Well, that freshman year ended with a really nice trophy in Omaha. I would love nothing more than to see that happen. But they got a steep hill to climb. That starts here in 21 minutes with Game 1 against Georgia. It'll be Schmidt on the mound. Mikey, how do you think Schmidt fares against Georgia today?
You know what? Look, if Schmidt can throw strikes and work ahead in the count, I think he fares well against any lineup. Right? He's got extreme amount of talent. He's got the stuff to get guys out. For him, it's about working ahead, and for him, it's about not giving free passes, especially to a team like Georgia. I don't care if he goes 6 innings and gives up 4 runs and it's 4 solo homers, right? That means he's getting everybody else out, and guys are going to pop homers, and that's fine. I can take that. But if you start walking guys and you start giving free passes and you give up the 3-run homer, that's when the game kind of changes. And so I think stuff-wise and ability-wise, he fares really well against them. It's just, is he going to be able to fill up the strike zone, work ahead, and put them on the defensive? Because that's a really, really tough lineup. If they don't just hit homers, they grind through at bats, and they're going to make them work. So he's going to have to not give in and let his stuff work for him.
A couple more for you here, Mikey. We know what they have to do, right? I mean, we've talked about it a ton. They got to get to 13. I think Jay even said that when he met with reporters. Internally, do you think these guys are talking about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think they know where they need to get, but I don't think it's consuming them, if that makes sense, especially after last weekend. After you get the sweep against South Carolina, which, look, if there was a team, you needed to get 7 of the 9 wins. And if there's a team to sweep, that was a team at home, and they did that. I think after you get the sweep, now you look up and you say, all right, all we got to do is win 2 series. That's it. We just got to go win 2 series. It's not about how many wins we need to get. You go win the next 2 series, and you put yourself in a really good position. And I think, I think the guys know that, but I don't think that they are, counting down the outs of saying, all right, we need this many outs to get this win. Now let's move on to the next one. I think it's just at this point, hey, we need 4 wins in 2 weekends. Let's go ahead, and if you play the game that we need to play, don't make errors, throw strikes, I think they have a really good opportunity to win both of them.
It's going to be fascinating theater to watch, man. It's you got a good draw last weekend. You got a really tough draw this weekend on the road against best team in the conference, but you got to go win a weekend, like you said. See if the Tigers can do it. First pitch coming up here in about 20 minutes from right now. Hey, Mikey, let's remind people about when you and Jay Mitch are on and where people can go get your content.
Yep, mic'd up. We're on Monday, Wednesday nights from 6 to 8-ish, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes later. That's the beauty of YouTube. You don't have a set time. And then we go Friday from 1 to 2, a little pregame before the game, talk a little gambling, talk a little baseball, around the SEC, all that kind of stuff. So you can catch us on YouTube. If you don't like watching and you like listening to us, which I don't know why you would, we both have faces for TV. So you can listen to us anywhere you get your pods. But we'd appreciate it. We love just having a good time talking ball. We're not much of a big take show. We're more of a, hey, let me tell you kind of the player side of it, and we have a good time doing it.
Love it. It's mic'd up with Mikey Matuk and Jared Mitchell. MIK''D is where you can find MIK''D, mic'd up. You can find it on YouTube, and as Mikey said, your favorite podcast app. So support the guys. Go get subbed up there. A couple of former national champion Tigers doing good stuff. We always appreciate the visit, Mikey. Thanks for the time, man.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, bud. Be well. It's after further review. We're brought to you by Schwab Tire and Auto Service, SchwabTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Hey, man, a day like this, raining cats and dogs out there, it'll put the tread on your tires to the test. If today is telling you, yeah, it's probably time for new tires, you're sliding all over the road, time to go to Schwab. Remember, SchwabTire.com, SchwabTire.com, SchwabTire.com. Hit the promotions tab. You can see all the deals they currently have. You could search tires on the center of the homepage. You can go look at your vehicle. Year, make, model, body style, price will tell you what tires you need. You can narrow it all down right there based on your budget, whatever it may be. And they're always going to get you the best tires on the road for the cheapest price possible. They're going to treat you like family, so you keep coming back. Oil changes, tire rotations. You need new wiper blades, battery, go into Schwab. SchwabTire.com, SchwabTire.com. Schwab, we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Friday edition. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. No Terrio today. If you're just joining us here as we move toward the 5 o'clock hour live here on this Friday edition of AFR. Terrio is at state track meet. I need to see if they've updated that. I know there was a delay over there earlier because of the weather. And George Terrio and Parkview are competing in the state championship, so we wish them well. Let's see. Running events. Okay, running events will begin at 5:30. Check-in opens at 5, so they are set to get a roll in there over at LSU again for the state track meet. So good luck to all the high school track athletes who are competing for state championships this weekend. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 2. We'll come back. LSU Tigers in the pros. Alan Faneca set to join us here in about 16 minutes from right now. We'll talk to the Pro Football Hall of Famer, former Tiger great, get his thoughts on this LSU offensive line, Lane Kiffin, et cetera, and then also talk about Louisiana Line Camp, of which he is a counselor. Faneca's coaching the offensive line at St. Paul's in Covington now. I mean, you would talk about, like, what if you're a high school offensive lineman being coached by a Pro Football Hall of Famer as your position coach? Oh, my bad. Pretty cool. All right, it's after further review. We'll wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Mother's Day Sunday. If you haven't gotten that gift from mom yet, let Clegg's help you out. Get by any of the 4 Clegg's nursery locations. Hanging baskets are an awesome gift for mom. They got full greenhouses bursting with blooms, rose bushes, maybe beautiful flowers like dipldenias, the dragon's breath, celosia is there. Look at these, are gorgeous, man. Beautiful red flowers. I mean, I don't even know how to pronounce some of this stuff. It doesn't really matter. Like, what I always recommend is go to Clegg's and ask, hey, what's something that's beautiful, colorful, that doesn't take a ton of work for me to make sure it stays alive? Or maybe you're a green thumb and you want something that's going to be a lot of work and need a lot of TLC because you love spending time in your garden, whatever it may be. Tune wind chimes, hummingbird feeders, great gifts for mom this Mother's Day. Clegg's gift card. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Craig Alima said, "Hey, Scone, I know you usually do Ask Ryan segment when he's on the show on Fridays. Can we, by any chance, when he's not able to be there, can we do an Ask the Mats segment where we ask you or Musso sports or off-the-wall questions? Think that could get sideways in a good way on Fridays when Terrio can't make it." Sure. What about Paul, though? We don't want to ask Paul anything?
Yeah, we always have to ask Paul what he thinks about things. So
Yeah.
Paul's a part of the show too, guys.
Paul, how do you feel about being left out of that text?
It's crushing. Not going to lie. Hurt my feelings.
Guy out here hurting Paul's feelings.
And Paul's like the nicest guy ever.
Really, ever. Paul just doesn't say words a lot.
No.
So it's easy to forget Paul's there because he just doesn't say words.
Sometimes I think I have my own office.
It's impossible. I've heard Paul's keyboard.
That's okay. That's fair. That's fair.
He has one of those mechanical keyboards. I can hear it from the fourth floor.
That's it.
Like I walk in, with the two of you. When I walk in so Muse and Paulie share an office. Their desks like face each other. But I guess you don't see each other because you both have monitors blocking your line of sight. But Paul's mechanical keyboard, which do you have that because you like it, or is that just what was given you?
No, that was just given to us.
Okay. Would you like to get rid of that?
It doesn't bother me.
Okay. But if it did, Paul probably wouldn't tell me because Paul doesn't say words. So I have to ask Paul a lot, like, Paul, what is broken here that we can fix for you? And then he'll tell me, but I have to ask him. Which is it's very redeeming quality that Paul has. Paul's great. He's like, everyone loves him. He's so easy to work with. Everyone gets along with him, and he does an awesome job. But Paul's keyboard and Musso cursing at everything and glugging his water would drive me insane. Yes.
Glug
yes.
the water? Excuse me?
Every time you are the loudest audible swallower of water I've ever heard in my life.
Bro, what?
Yes. Every time I see you uncap your water, I just like want to plug my ears because I'm like, this is going to be such a loud sip. I have this thing where people who chew or swallow loudly, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. And it's interesting because I saw, like, when I was a kid, like, if we were sitting at the breakfast table, my sister was like a loud eater. And she'd be eating cereal, and she'd be like, you know, kind of breathing and audibly chewing. And, like, I would take her cereal away from her. And she would get so mad.
I bet so. She's trying to eat.
I know. God, I know.
I think anyone would get mad at that. Just trying to enjoy a meal and you take it from them.
I know. But anyway, so those are my but again, Paul with the keyboard. It's not anything Paul's doing. It's not a personality thing. It's just the sounds. Have you ever noticed that he's a loud swaller, a glugger?
I have noticed that.
Dude, I've never been told this before.
You are a loud water swallower.
I don't think I'm a loud eater, though, so that's
I don't know.
interesting.
I don't think you and I have ever sat at like a restaurant and shared a meal of food. Actually, we have.
Yes, we have.
We have, but I don't remember that. And if you're in a restaurant, it's loud, so you probably wouldn't notice. You probably notice more like if you were, like you eat your little peanut butter crackers all the time, but I'm usually not around when you're eating your peanut butter crackers. Or you're over there and I have headphones on.
Paul, am I a loud chewer?
I haven't noticed the chewing, but maybe it's just like the water bottle. But yeah, I've definitely noticed that.
Maybe I just let too much air in it whenever I'm drinking it.
I don't know.
It makes the bubbles. I don't know. That's interesting.
So loud.
Not on purpose.
Loudest water drinker ever. I know I'm not crazy. By the way, there was I saw an Instagram post. It was like, and clearly my phone has listened to me talk about this before, because it was like people who are bothered by loud eaters have like abnormally high IQs. It's what this thing said. So I shared it on my Instagram story one time. I'm like, I must be the smartest human walking the face of planet Earth, if that's true, because I have an inordinate distaste for people who are loud eaters. It's weird, I know.
No, I mean, it's not weird. I mean, my sister, she hates smacking when people eat. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
It's the same thing. So I mean, it's not I think plenty of people are like that.
And when you talk, when you chew, swallow your food.
Yeah, chew with your mouth closed. Yeah.
Then have a conversation.
Yeah.
Eric, my dad does this. A lot of times when I drive home, like I'll call my dad just to tell him hi. And usually it's like 6:15, 6:30, whatever. So a lot of times it's dinner. I'm not trying to interrupt him, but like he'll sit there and shove food in his mouth while he's talking to me. I'm like, how do I politely end a conversation with my dad immediately so I do not have to listen to him eat his dinner? And I'll be like, they look, I don't know, look, you're eating. I'll call him back. Oh, I'm good. I'm like, no, really. I'm going to call you back. And he's not listening right now because he's in Greece.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah. It's only like a church trip.
Still, it's Greece. It's awesome.
It'd be better if I was out there like drinking Greek wine
sure.
and, not being on a church trip. But church trips are great. They have their spot.
It's not Baton Rouge, dude.
No, I get it. Why do you hate Baton Rouge?
I don't. I love Baton Rouge.
Like
I'm just saying Greece, a lot more beautiful than Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Just caught a huge stray from
Not
Muso.
true.
Who knew you hated Baton Rouge?
don't.
Spread the word Muso hates Baton Rouge. You're the worst.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Tell you what today revealed. All this rain, walking down the stairwell, first floor, backside of the stairwell, water everywhere. Leaky windows. You know what it means? Time for Landon to call Brandon over at Relief Windows. Landon's our facility manager. Over at Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, shutters and shades, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Hey, y'all, we are getting into storm season. Remember, Relief Windows has those storm force impact windows. They're Cat 5 approved in Miami-Dade County. You might remember for years, did you see that commercial where Brandon was taking a crowbar and like hitting the window and it wouldn't break through the window? Like, we have those installed. Adds an extra layer of security to your home. They're energy efficient. It's going to increase your home's resale value. It's Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades. Relief Windows, ReliefWindows.com.
Raising Cane's Texas Toast is a thick slice of bread, garlic butter spread, grilled to golden perfection, and made to order just for you. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Ed Bank, and we've got NBA playoff basketball coming up on ESPN Radio at the bottom of the hour with the Knicks and the 76ers, but New York will be without OG Anunoby. He is out with a right hamstring strain and will not play in tonight's game. Josh Hart and Mitchell Robinson will go for New York. No word yet on Joel Embiid's status for Philadelphia. Our coverage gets underway at the bottom of the hour. Meanwhile, the Spurs and the Timberwolves are the second game of the night. That series tied at a game apiece. It is an off night for the Lakers and Thunder. ESPN's Q Myers doesn't agree with the argument that LeBron James may not be getting enough calls in this series.
LeBron James shot 316 free throws this year. 316, not counting the postseason. Come on, man. He talking about the little guys in theatrics. Has he seen LeBron James in his theatrics?
That series resumes tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Hockey tonight. Sabres host the Canadiens in an hour. Buffalo looking to go up 2-0. And the Knights and Ducks score up. That series tied at a game apiece. In baseball, as first reported by the California Post, confirmed by ESPN, Dodgers pitcher Blake Snell is coming off the injured list. He will make a start tomorrow night against the Braves.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. It's 5 o'clock. Quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. LSU and Georgia getting underway here momentarily. We'll keep you posted on that as we move throughout the 5 o'clock hour. Big one for the Tigers and the Bulldogs. Always appreciate when you visit with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. We get the chance to do that. Former Tiger great Alan Faneca jumping aboard with us for a few minutes. Alan, it's great to chat, man. How are you?
Doing good. How's it going, man?
It's going great, man. I'm glad to have you aboard. I know you're going to be one of the coaches at the Louisiana Line Camp. We'll talk about that in a second. But I saw a post from St. Paul's, welcoming the new offensive line coach, Alan Fanica. I'm thinking to myself, as a former high school offensive lineman getting coached by a Pro Football Hall of Famer, that's pretty stinking cool, man. How did that all come to pass?
Let's see. So I've been coaching high school football a little bit since I've been retired up in Virginia. I was a head coach for a couple of years as well. We've been back for about 3 years now almost. My son is going to be a 10th grader next year at St. Paul's. So since we've moved back, I've just kind of followed his journey and coached along on his teams in junior high, and now we're in high school coaching. So that's kind of how my journey got there, but I've been really enjoying it.
That's awesome, man. So, like, a chance at what's your son's name, by the way?
Burton.
So, is there a chance we get to see Burton in the purple and gold? Like, is that a thing that he might want to do?
That is a thing he might want to do.
Okay, let's go. I mean, does he wear 66?
You know what? That's kind of a back and forth. He likes to be his own person, but then he doesn't like seeing somebody else in 66. So I think he's going to change to 66 this year.
It's also a badass number. Not gonna lie. So I mean, that's like regardless of if Dad wore it or not, like that's pretty solid choice, man. Hey, Alan, let's talk a little bit. We had Coach Pete Jenkins on earlier this week. We'll always love talking about line camp. But have you been involved in that in the past?
You know what? Last year was my first. And it's kind of a funny thing because so when I came in, my recruiting class at LSU, there was 5 or 6 of us, and everybody knew each other. And I was like, man, how do you guys already all know each other? And where'd they meet? They met at line camp.
Love it.
And so I used to joke at them, camps weren't that big back then, right? They're huge now. There's camps all over the place. But I was like, you guys went to camp to be linemen? Like, you didn't go to camp to, like, I don't know, go be a wide receiver or something else? So it was a running joke. So when I'm driving to lineman camp last year, I'm like, all right, I got to pick up the phone and tell the guys that I'm now heading to lineman camp. So, but it was great. It was great. It was a great experience.
What would you say? Because I know, there's a lot of young athletes, and a lot of coaches that listen to this show as well. Is the benefit to getting your team signed up, or if you're a parent, getting your son over to line camp?
You know what? I think there's so many camps that are out there, and I think some of them get a little watered down. The Louisiana lineman camp is not watered down at all. I mean, it is concentrate. You're going to get there. You're going to get work. You're going to get instruction, and it's not going to swamp you or overload you. We're going to start from the ground up and build you up by the time you go. And so much about lineman play is repetitive until those motions and those steps and those hand movements, everything you're going to do to play football just kind of becomes second nature, and you're just kind of doing them on your own. So you're going to get so much repetition. And that was one of the biggest things I was so impressed with as the amount of practice time in the 3 days that we get done. It's the equivalent. If you have a practice with a team in the summer, you might have 15, 20 minutes of individual period, maybe if you're lucky. And then the next thing you're off with the offense and you're going against the defense and you're done. But when you're at the line camp, it is 100% all individual periods. So you just really get to dive deep, and everybody gets the reps, and you get to take your time and coach it up. There's no rush of an impending team period that you've got to get the group ready for. So it's just really great.
About a month away from Louisiana Line Camp. You get registered over at LouisianaLineCamp.com, LouisianaLineCamp.com. Alan Faneca is our guest. I mean, if you had a chance, I know you, in the few times that we get talking, you stay pretty plugged in to LSU and watch the team. So have you had a chance to meet Lane Kiffin yet?
I met him briefly. I did meet him briefly. I was impressed, and I'm excited that he is here and what he's going to bring. I think it's going to be good stuff.
What do you think? One of the real interesting things, Alan, about the Tigers this year is on the line. I mean, obviously, a position that is there so much new, and that's a unit where 5 have to play as one. But really, I mean, you're returning Braylon Moore, but everything. I mean, Weston Davis, I guess, could end up winning that right tackle job, but you're going to have so much new with all these transfers. Like, how quickly or realistic do you think it is for all that new to assimilate?
Yeah, so that's always the big question when you get all these new guys on offensive line units. And I think the best way to attack it is you got to go, maybe not outside of your comfort zone, but you kind of got to go beyond. If you've been with some guys for a year, 2 or 3, right? You don't have to have the conversations because you already know everything. You know everybody's answers. Well, you kind of got to have those conversations so you can know those answers. So you can know what your buddy's thinking next to you and how you're going to attack a 3 technique on an inside run play. That you just know, because when your hand's in the dirt and it's Tiger Stadium and there's 80,000 people scrambling, you don't have time to find out those answers. You got to know what your buddy's thinking. So you got to kind of speed up that process a little bit, have those conversations and get the work in. And it is possible. You just got to go in there and put the work.
Did you have a year, Alan, that you can remember that comes to mind that was like that, where there was a lot of turnover on a line from one year to the next?
I can remember we had a year up in Pittsburgh where we literally bounced guys around. I mean, in the middle of a game. I played maybe 12 games at left tackle. We were swinging guys inside and out. We had a lot of injuries, and we had a game up in Denver. I mean, we literally were when third down was coming on, we were not running receivers on and running backs off. We were running linemen onto the field. It was pretty insane. So yes, that year definitely sticks out to me, and it was difficult, and we were doing it in the middle of the season.
Do you think for this Lane Kiffin team, do you think it's more about the talent that they have, because they seem to check that box, right? I mean like Seton, I don't know if you have any thoughts on him, but that's a guy that's like projecting as a first rounder next year, and the right guard Aluba has been a 2-year starter at Maryland. Like, they got Braylon Moore, obviously was LSU's most consistent guy a year ago, so they check that box. But like, can talent? I guess the way to ask it now is like, if you have the talent, can the talent overcome what you may lack in continuity while you build that?
Oh, definitely. It can. It makes things easier, right? It makes when the game's coming easier to you, you're going to be able to make those decisions easier. You're going to be able to play easier. You know, you're not as stressed to get the job done, because you're naturally going to get it done. You're a better athlete or a better player. It's going to cover up some things. Now, will it cover up some things? And if you still are not taking care of things, will it get exposed when you're going against better players? Sure, it will. But it definitely is a help to help speed these process up, help ease those transitions. And I got to think, in today's college football, when guys are coming and going in the portal, you know, this isn't as new of a thing, right, to the college game, to these offensive lines. You know, they're kind of used to that, I would imagine, by now.
Alan Faneca is our guest, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Hey, before you go, I not long ago I had Stromile Swift on the show. I don't remember if Stromile played basketball at LSU. He was on a recruiting visit for the 97 Florida game, and he actually there's a photo of him like riding the goalposts coming down. What do you remember about being on the field during that madness?
Oh man, just chaos. I can remember just like running into students. I can remember, like, you know, all of a sudden finding somebody I've been looking for to celebrate. But you know, the story that comes out the most is the field goal post and the stories we heard all night long about how the fans were trying to throw him outside of Tiger Stadium and carry him around. So we come in the next day for you know, a little rehab and jogging and a little workout. And what's everybody do? Everybody goes to the stadium the first when they get there to go look up there. And the field goal posts are at the top of Tiger Stadium, diagonally across from each other. All the way at the top. And so that was a sight to see.
So good. Alan Faneca, Tiger grade, of course, an All-American and first-round draft pick, Pro Football Hall of Famer. And maybe most notably now, new offensive line coach at St. Paul's in Covington. Man, enjoy the time with your son. That's awesome. I love to hear that. And we'll look forward to catching up down the line, man. Thank you for the time.
Sounds great, man.
Yep, it's our pleasure. That's Alan Faneca. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake. Success takes a team, and not just on the field. At FMOL Health, that team is more than 20,000 strong, delivering care across Louisiana and Mississippi as one connected, mission-driven health system. As a matter of fact, last night, show ended, I ran over to LSU Football Ops, the indoor facility where they had the Big Bash benefiting the Our Lady of the Lake Foundation. I actually got to sit at a table right next to Sister Helen, and it was just an amazing night to raise money and awareness for all the incredible work that FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, does. And as a $5 billion health system with nationally recognized quality and not one but two exceptional workplace awards from Gallup, FMOL Health has built something that people trust and continues to grow to meet the needs of the communities they serve. So remember, it's bigger than sports. It's about having a health system that you can count on. It's FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and LSU. Together, we roar. You can learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU. Tigers plate 2 in the top of the first. So William Schmidt's on the bump now as LSU has given him a 2-0 lead to get rolling. So the Tigers offensively doing what they had to do. Took a couple of walks there, a couple of clutch hits, and did have a runner thrown out at third. Was that Aaron Beatty who got thrown out at third?
It was Aaron Beatty who got thrown out at third.
So could have been maybe an even bigger inning, but 2 runs for the Tigers in the top of the first as they lead Georgia 2-0 with the Bulldogs coming to bat. And this is going to be really the game within the game. As by the way, can we get that back? My clock is going on that screen. I don't know what happened. I think maybe I turned the TV off when I was turning those on. It might just be. Can you just like literally grab that remote and turn the? Thank you. I need my clock in studio. It's on a TV screen. That's what I was asking. I think when we were trying to turn the game on, we turned the clock TV off. All right. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. With the very strong probability that we are moving to a 2014 college football playoff, there was they did a mock-up of what a 2014 playoff would have looked like this year in college football. So I have a few observations of that. We'll get to it next. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. You know what? I hesitate to say this because I don't want to steer you wrong. But if you're looking for something for mom for Mother's Day, at Watermark downtown, the Gregory does a Sunday brunch that is outstanding. I sure hope, probably should have asked to see if they're booked already, if they're booked solid. They might be. But if you're looking for something to do with mom on Mother's Day, it might be worth giving a call over to Watermark Baton Rouge to see if they're booked for their Sunday brunch on Sunday for Mother's Day. And listen, if you've never been to Watermark Baton Rouge, it's worth it. The Gregory's awesome. The food's outstanding. The ambiance is great. It's right there in the lobby of Watermark, which is a gorgeous, it's Baton Rouge's premier hotel. And if you're worried about parking, it's always complimentary valet parking when you're eating at the Gregory, so you don't even have to worry about that. Check them out. Give them a call over there. It's downtown on 3rd Street. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Our Tigers got 2 in the top of the first. Georgia's already responded with just a pimp job of a homer over the batter's side. Straightaway center. Nothing cheap about that one. It's 2-1 LSU. Georgia's got man on with 1 out there on the bottom of the first. We'll keep you posted. So, big news earlier this week was that the American Football Coaches Association made their recommendation for college football to move to a 24-team playoff. By now, you know where I stand on that. I am very much pro 24-team playoff. I want a real playoff, a real system where it's played out on the field and we actually have games and teams are incentivized to schedule meaningful non-conference games instead of trying to artificially inflate their win-loss record so they can make a pared-down playoff. Let's see great games throughout the regular season and make a meaningful playoff with teams that deserve to be there. That's always been my point of view. I don't want to punish Texas at 9-3 because they went on the road and played Ohio State while we're rewarding 11-1 Indiana from 2024, who played an absolute trash pile of a schedule, but went 11-1, so they made the playoff. The one ranked team they played in the regular season was Ohio State, who kicked their head in. Like, give me a real playoff. Okay. So, how you choose the 24 teams will remain to be seen if they do move to 24. Are you going to stay with the committee? My preference would be a power rating system, because a power rating system would give everyone an objective metric before the season starts so they know what they have to do to appease that metric. So as to say, if you go schedule, if you're LSU and you go on the road to play Clemson week 1, now Clemson ended up 7-6, but you go play one of those games. Last year, you're Texas, and you go play at Ohio State to start the season, and you think Ohio State's going to be a 10-win team, that's going to give you a big bump in the power ratings. You schedule an FCS opponent, it's going to dock you in the power ratings, right? That would be my preference. How does it all work together? I don't know. You can figure that out. Some formulation of the old BCS rankings would be fine with me, but we'll see. I'd like to take it away from the self-important dorks in a hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas that I rail on all the time. But taking the rankings that they put forth a year ago, or for this most recent college football season, this is how a 24-team playoff would look. So you would have had 8 opening round byes. Number 1, Indiana. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Texas Tech. Number 5, Oregon. Number 6, Ole Miss. Number 7, Texas A&M. Number 8, Oklahoma. That's your top 8. They'd have opening round byes. So you want to talk about people talk about devaluing the regular season? My point would be, no. You're not devaluing the regular season by expanding the playoff. You're just changing the target. Meaning, all right, well, now you have access, but how valuable is an opening round bye to not have to play the extra game, effectively to get a week off? Or maybe you're playing to host an opening round game. And that's the value that puts so much emphasis, because tell me you're LSU, you wouldn't want to have a bye and then a second round game at Tiger Stadium? Now you're playing for something meaningful throughout the regular season. That all matters. So those first 8 would have a bye waiting on the winners of the 8 games that would be played. Now, I'm not in favor of giving G5 programs auto bids. I'm actually not in favor of giving anybody an auto bid. I don't think literally anybody should have an auto bid. Now, they're going to give conference champions an auto bid, and I guess to a degree I understand that, but if we're being honest, your conference champions of the power leagues are going to get in the playoff anyway. So call it an auto bid, whatever. Those teams are going to be in. James Madison, number 24, at number 9, Alabama, would be an opening round game. Number 23, Iowa, would play at number 10, Miami. Number 22, Georgia Tech, at number 11, Notre Dame. Notre Dame would be in. Number 21, Houston at number 12, BYU. I saw Hunt complaining on Twitter earlier today about Houston playing in the Texas Bowl against LSU. They'd be in the playoff. I get it. I'm not in favor of G5s making the playoff. In this instance, Houston is now in the Big 12. So I'd love to see a power rating system, see how that would all play out. Tulane at Texas. Virginia at number 19, at number 14, Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt would be in. And by the way, Virginia, remember, was 7-1 in the conference a year ago. Now, they threw up on themselves in the final week and cost themselves a shot to potentially go into the playoff as the ACC champion. It's what opened the door for Miami to get in. So I love the fact that you'd have an opportunity for access. And you say, well, don't throw up on yourself at the end. I'm with you. But I don't think that one game nullifies the entire body of the work of the season. But what it does, takes away your opportunity to bye, takes away your opportunity at a home game. Now, instead of having a bye or playing at home, now you're on the road at Vanderbilt. Week 1 is a 19 seed. Yeah, there's where the value of the regular season comes into play. The other two games be Michigan at Utah. Yes, please. Arizona at USC in a 17-16 matchup. I just struggle to find a reason not to want this. I struggle to find a reason to say, you know what, more football is a bad thing. I struggle to find a reason to say intersectional matchups on college campuses in a playoff. Yeah, who really wants that? Like, I really struggle to get there with that mentality. It's why, and I know I just ranted the other day, but it's how I genuinely feel about all of this. And I think so much of this conversation about an expanded playoff and the sacred regular season and all that stuff, it is just an absurd echo chamber argument that people have been force-fed forever and have just believed. The most sacred regular season. It's not a sacred regular season. College football's regular season, I say it this way all the time, it's the only sport you can win every game and not make the playoff. It's actually absurd. And if you lose 2 games in September, then you're done. No opportunity to improve as the season goes along. I mean, think about 2001 LSU, which won the SEC, but was 5-3 in the league. By the time November came along, they had gotten to be so good and so dangerous offensively, blew the doors off of the Big Ten champion in the Sugar Bowl that year, Illinois. Like, what if there was a playoff? That's a team that could have made some real noise. How fun would that have been to be able to see that? I'm not saying they're a bye, they're a 1 seed. They're like, they might have been deep in the mix. But I can't get there with people who say, like, you don't want to see that. Why do you want to play off in literally every other sport? Literally every other sport, but not in college football, not the sport we all love. We're okay just outsourcing the playoff to a bunch of self-important dweebs wearing ugly jackets, peddling their bowl games. We cater to a sunset over some mountains in Pasadena. That's how we crown a champion. A pretty sunset. Come on. And I think maybe the biggest validation is for everyone that worried that a 4-team playoff was going to kill the regular season, it's only made it more meaningful. And that a 12-team playoff was going to kill the regular season. This was the most watched regular season ever. TV viewership's up, hitting all-time highs. There's never been more interest in college football, and it's only going to grow because you have access points for more teams now. And that's a good thing. Letting people in that hotel ballroom in suburban Dallas use their inherent bias toward the Blue Bloods is not a good thing for the sport. That would not have benefited Indiana in any era ever. And they went on and won the national championship because you can. Go play it on the field. All right. You can always let me know your thoughts. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. William Schmidt got a bases loaded strikeout for the second out and then walked in a run. So it's 2-2, bases loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. So Schmidt goes out there and squanders the 2-run lead that the offense had given him in the top of the first inning. So Georgia is relentless offensively, man. Can't give up free passes, and Schmidt's made a habit of that here in the first, unfortunately. We're brought to you by Evamore, E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore, y'all. Natural artesian water, a Louisiana product. Want to stay hydrated as we move in the spring and summer months, this oppressive Louisiana heat. Make sure you stay hydrated with a healthier alternative. Drink Evamore. Drink it side by side with whatever bottled water you drink now, and know you're drinking a delicious product that is all natural, healthier, nothing added, nothing taken away, and it's a Louisiana product, so you're supporting a great Louisiana business. They have national distribution, so if you're listening or watching the show outside of Louisiana, go to the website, evamore.com, E-V-A-M-O-R, evamore.com, evamore.com. Hit the menu. You can find a store. Just punch in your zip code, and you'll find the store nearest you that sells Evamore. E-V-A-M-O-R, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. All right, Gavin Guidry's getting loose in the bullpen. 2 outs in the bottom of the first, and full count here. See if Schmidt can get out of it. And he does. So strikeout there for the second and third. Out of the inning. Schmidt gets out of the first, leaves them loaded, but we are tied at 2 Tigers and Bulldogs. LSU coming to bat top of the second. Well, it's not going to break, y'all. We'll roll along. It's AFR.
After further review.
Buying or selling your home? Think real estate? Think Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. That's the number to call. I always love telling you about the many awards that Darren's won. Recently, best agent, best realtor in the best of Baton Rouge. Told you about the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list of the top 1% of realtors in America. Last year, Darren James, number 13 in the country on the transaction side. Say that again. 1 million realtors in the United States of America. Darren James was number 13 in the country in the number of homes closed. You need to get to a closing table. You need to sell your home fast for the most amount of money. You need Darren James. Matter of fact, Darren guarantees it. He's got his guaranteed sale program. Need to sell your home? Sit down with Darren. You'll agree to a price and a deadline. If he doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it for free. Agent225.com. Agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
At Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer, we know you deserve value when you purchase equipment. Right now, take advantage of the powerful 3025 e-tractor for just $297 a month. With 0% financing for 72 months. Tractor packages with a trailer also available. Whether you're tackling land, property, or projects, get your job done. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. Visit sunequip.com or stop by a Sunshine location today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinela.com and tell them Matt sent you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These ice cubes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Spring is here, and that means it's time for a little cha-ching. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust are giving you the chance to win $5,000 cash with the Spring Cha-Ching Sweepstakes. Head over to 1045ESPN.com and get registered today for your chance to win the $5K. It's quick, it's easy, and someone is going to walk away with some serious spending money. The Spring Cha-Ching Sweepstakes, presented by Citizens Bank and Trust and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The Saints on Friday declined to pick up Tyrie Wilson's fifth-year option. You probably remember this conversation from the draft. So Tyrie Wilson, former number 7 overall pick of the Raiders, has been a good player for them. He's played a lot of football. Just hasn't been the terror off the edge that you anticipate when you take an edge rusher 7th overall. So new beginning for Tyrie Wilson in New Orleans, something that he said after the draft was excited about. Saints sent a 5th-round pick to the Raiders for Tyrie Wilson. Now, the deadline to pick up for teams to pick up the 5th-year options here, and so the Saints had to decide if they were going to pick up Tyrie Wilson's 5th-year option. If you're not familiar with how that works very quickly, teams that draft first-round picks, it's a 4-year deal with a 5th-year option. So the team has, before that 4th year, has to decide if they are going to pick up the player's 5th-year option. Now, that 5th-year option is an average of the top contracts at the position, and so it's the 5th-year option would be a $14.475 million deal for 2027. So New Orleans has declined that option, meaning Tyrie Wilson will be an unrestricted free agent after 2026. So New Orleans basically sent a 5th-round pick to the Raiders for a rent player. The way I kind of phrased it is it's sort of rent to own. They're renting for 2026 with the possibility that if it goes well, they can sign him to an extension, a long-term deal. And that would probably make sense for Tyrie Wilson. If he comes to New Orleans and plays well in 2026, great. He will have earned a long-term extension with the Saints. The risk for the Saints is he comes, plays well, and then another team decides they want to pay him more. And then he leaves, which could happen. You gave up a 5th-round pick for a 1-year player. Why I still think it's worth it is a couple things. We've talked plenty about that position, in particular Cameron Jordan. So you've got Chase Young, Carl Granderson. Cameron Jordan is still unsigned. You've added Tyrie Wilson, who it certainly factors in this year, and then you make a longer-term decision next year, on Wilson or somebody else. We'll see how the others factor in. But I think there are 2 ways you could have approached Tyrie Wilson. Are you approaching Tyrie Wilson the number 7 overall pick, or are you approaching Tyrie Wilson as a 5th-round pick? Because that's what the Saints gave up for him. The Saints didn't have to spend a 1st-round pick. They spent a 5th to get Tyrie Wilson for 1 year. And I guess as I look through the Saints draft history at 5th-round picks, let's just go through. I'm just going to rattle off some 5th-round picks just here in order, okay? Spencer Rattler, Bub Means, miss. Jalen Ford, to be determined. Jordan Howden, hanging around but hasn't been a consistent contributor. Natrell Jamerson, miss. Davis Tull, miss. Tyler Davidson, good player, but played mostly for another team. Damian Swan out of Georgia, played a little bit for you. Vinny Sinceri, miss. Ronald Powell, miss. Kenny Stills, that was a hit. Corey White, that's a miss. Matt Tennant, total miss. Thomas Morstead was a hit. Carl Nix, absolute. Guy became an All-Pro. DeMario Presley, miss. David Jones, don't even remember him. We need a tight end it was a DB out of Wingate. Rob Ninkovich, absolute hit. Just, you cut him, and he ended up being a hit for the Patriots. Adrian McPherson was a 5th-rounder. Rodney Leslie was a 5th-rounder. Melvin Williams, Mel Mitchell. Onomo Ojo was a 5th-rounder. I'm all the way back to the year 2000 now, where Austin Wheatley and Chad Morton were 5th-rounders. You get the point. Every now and again, you see a Carl Nix or a Thomas Morstead, but I just went through 25 years of draft history, and those are the dramatic exception, not the rule, for a 5th-round pick. So if what you get in this 5th round and giving up a 5th-round pick for Tyrie Wilson is you get a potential high upside prospect that is still a young veteran who you know has been a valuable rotational guy in the league already and can play, well, you're not taking the risk of it being Bub Means or Matt Tennant, someone who's never going to get on the field for you. It's a guy that you know can play at this level and can help you immediately. The question is, will that in turn become a guy who warrants a bigger long-term contract? But you can rent this year, make the determination after this year if you want to own. So Tyrie Wilson, the Saints pass on the 5th-year option. So they won't pay him $14.5 million in 2027, but they will have the option after 2026 when he becomes an unrestricted free agent to extend him if he earns the contract. All right, it's after further review. Hey, Mother's Day is Sunday. Remember, Supper Club is open for lunch on Mother's Day. They are not typically open on Sundays, but Chef Layton, Brandon, they all made the decision they're going to open up on Sunday for Mother's Day from 11 to 3. So lunch, full menu. If you've not yet gotten reservations for Mom, haven't decided where you're going to take Mom for lunch on Mother's Day, treat her to the best dining experience you'll have anywhere. Supper Club in Baton Rouge, right there on Perkins near Bluebonnet. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. That's the website. Or you can always call over the front desk, get your reservation. You want to take care of Mom. Again, limited seating, but full menu for lunch Sunday for Mother's Day, open 11 to 3 at Supper Club, SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com. And if Mom doesn't love steak, that's all right. They got lobster, they got stone crabs, they got Chilean sea bass, Orta King salmon, lamb chops. I've told you one of my favorite things on the menu, the veal parm. Give it a go at Supper Club. Treat Mom like the hero she is. Treat her to lunch at Supper Club on Mother's Day. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Let's see, we're bottom 2 now with LSU and Georgia tied at 2. 2 outs, runner on first, as Schmidt just walked a hitter. Is it first and second or just first?
Just first. It was Daniel Jackson, the kid who hit the nuke.
So first, runner on first, 2 outs, tied at 2. Schmidt looking to have a much easier second inning here than he did in the first. Left him loaded in the first. But Tigers and Bulldogs, just a huge spot, as we know, for LSU. Is we've talked about ad nauseum. They got to win 4 of their last 6 to get to 13 to feel good going to Hoover about their postseason opportunity. But a giant ask this weekend in Athens against the best team in the SEC. Georgia 18-6 in the conference, with the opportunity to clinch. As a matter of fact, Wes Johnson, when he had his media availability on Thursday, talked about having the SEC lead with 2 weekends to go and the opportunity to clinch.
You always want to finish strong. You want to stay focused. You need to be playing really good baseball this time of year. It doesn't always mean you're going to win just because the league's so tough, right? I mean, you can always run into a guy or have a hiccup here or there, or you look, I mean, there's been some games we've hit a lot of balls over 100 miles an hour and haven't scored. Mm-hmm. So you want to be playing good ball. Yeah, we're not going to talk about the race or the standings. I mean, that's, for everybody else. You get caught up looking at that stuff, then you lose focus on what's at hand, which is, Friday night right here.
Friday night is underway, 2-2. LSU and Georgia, they're headed to the third. Schmidt induces a long fly out to get the final out of the second inning. All right, we're going to knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back. We'll do a little, per your request, Ask the Mats and Paul. Are we going to throw Paul in there?
Yeah, we have to throw Paul in there. He's part of the show.
I think we should just do Ask Paul.
Just Ask Paul? I kind of think we should do that too, actually.
We better get a million questions because they're all going to be one-word answers.
That's true.
All right, time for Ask the Mats and Paul. Get your questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I have a question for you. How do I get rid of these stupid telemarketer calls that come in every 20 minutes all day long? I can't do the thing where you block unknown numbers because we've talked about this before because there's too many times I could do interviews on other radio stations, so they're calling me from their studio. I can't block unknown numbers. I can't do that. I need to get the telemarketers to stop.
Scone versus the spam call is a rivalry unlike any other.
Right.
Like, it really is.
Spam risk 544, spam risk 235, spam risk 1252, spam risk 1243. Spam risk, spam telemarketer.
Was it the same number, that spam
no,
risk?
It's never the same because
okay.
I always I block the number and it just comes from a different number.
Jeez.
This is the true test, Muse, if anybody's still listening or if everybody's watching the game. Ask the Mats. Get your questions in next at AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions over at Glow Resources. Make sure you're following Glow on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. They do a good job as well of posting a lot of times when they do have jobs available that they're hiring for. So I always encourage you to check it out. Like, this is one that's a fabrication team lead in Houston. So you want to apply, you can go to glowresources.com, glowresources.com. You can see all the info there on social media. But the point is, that's a company in Houston that's hiring for a fabrication team lead. It doesn't matter if you're in Baton Rouge or if you're in Houston or Dallas or Florida or anywhere. At Glow Resources, they do an awesome job helping you find those hard-to-fill jobs that are permanent solutions. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at glowresources.com, glowresources.com.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
If you're a business owner and you haven't had Insurance Network of Louisiana shop to see if they can find you better coverage for less money, chances are you're overpaying. I'm going to give you the number for Insurance Network of Louisiana here in just a sec, or you can log on to the website to get in touch with them there as well. But really, any type of business. My goodness, I was sitting down with Adam and Jay in the office a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about, for example, like restaurants. I mean, some of my favorite places in town, too. Mestizo, a Doe's Eat Place, Cocha downtown, the station. I mean, all clients of Insurance Network of Louisiana where they shopped and were able to find them better coverage for less money. So if you're a business owner, got to have insurance. You're always concerned about the bottom line. Can you save money and get better coverage? Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop. Here's the number, 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. We asked the question if Omar Cerna was going to be in the lineup with the back issue. Got our answer. Cerna is in the lineup. I guess the back's just fine. He just homered to give LSU a 3-2 lead. So they're top three in Athens. Curiel at the plate. LSU put up a 2 spot in the top of the first. Georgia answered with 2 in the bottom. Schmidt left them loaded. Both teams went quietly in the second. Now top third, Omar Cerna. Homer to left center to give LSU a 3-2 lead as they regain it there. Tigers and Bulldogs at Foley Field in Athens. We'll keep you posted. All right, just about to get out of here. So remember, you can always email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. I will tell you, this is normally when we do Otter Locks. We'll do questions for the Matts and Paul, so get your questions in. I was listening to Live at Lunch earlier today, and Ace Seminara was on with the guys, and he gave a few picks. I'll run through these quickly if you're interested, because they're not up on the website. He liked the Braves. Shout out, Paul. The Braves are at the Dodgers, but the pitching matchup with Sale going for the Braves pretty heavily leans Braves in this one. So Braves at Dodgers, it's even money. And then he also liked a prop with Jacob Mizorowski over strikeouts tonight against the Yankees. He gave it at 8.5. DraftKings had it at 7.5. So an even better number. So if you want those plays, Ace Seminara on with Live at Lunch earlier today gave those 2 MLB plays. If you want a little action tonight, there goes. Good opportunity. All right, Curiel. It's going to be a little knock up the middle. Second baseman cut it off, but no time to make the throw. So Curiel, a 1-out single. Tigers rolling along here offensively. You love to see it. All right, ask the Mats and Paul.
Don't forget Paul.
Sean asked this one at the end of last hour, but I'll hold it over. Ask the Mats, who is the best James Bond?
Sean Connery was really good. Obviously, he's the guy everybody associates. I liked Daniel Craig as James Bond, too, though. I thought he was pretty good.
Paul, you have a favorite James Bond?
I didn't really watch any of them, to be honest.
Same.
Couldn't really tell you who played James Bond.
Well, I know Sean Connery, Pierce Brosnan was a James Bond.
He was a good one.
You mentioned, well, they're all good. I mean, you have to be a certain character type to play that. And let's just be real. I mean, if you're James Bond, you know, you're playing a really cool character and you do cool things, and so it's hard to be bad. It's like Batman. Was there a bad Batman? Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, who's the other guy?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
A good Batman.
They're all good. I mean, freaking Batman. You know, you're a superhero. Hard to be bad at it. If you get cast in that role, it's hard to be bad at it. So, I don't know if I got a favorite James Bond. I don't know that I've seen a James Bond movie start to finish.
Ever? Oh, that's crazy.
I mean, I've seen pieces of a lot of them. You know?
I mean, if we're being honest, if you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Right.
I mean, it's the same movie.
It's like, oh, it's on TV, and so you stop and watch it for 20 minutes here or there. But like, I don't ever remember going to a theater to watch a 007 movie, and I don't remember ever watching one start to finish. Did watch Austin Powers, which was loosely spoofed James Bond. Oh, okay, this is just a guy telling me a story about going to an orthopedic surgeon and asking about a list franc. That's not a question at all.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's it.
It was our test to see if anybody was listening or watching the game.
Get out!
They're watching the game.
Get out, Kate Aaron Beatty. Yes, sir.
How about him, brother?
Hey, you know what? Kate Aaron Beatty, 2-run homer. Tigers leading 5-2, now top 3. As we said when the Tigers played in Tennessee, the Biddy ballpark giveth and the Biddy ballpark taketh away. You want to have a Biddy ballpark? Okay. I got it. But every team that comes to plays in your Biddy ballpark gets hit at your same fence. It is 345 to left, so that's actually respectable. It's bigger than the box. And that was left center. I'm here for it. What if they win this game like 26-9?
Yeah, you signed me up for that.
Yeah, let's go. Just win. All right, see you Monday. Happy Mother's Day.
AFR.
Speaking of Mother's Day, remember, gents, this is your last reminder. You still have time to get by Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, 9 locations. In Baton Rouge, you got 2. You got Mall of Louisiana and then Corporate Boulevard. But there's 9 in all. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Shreveport. Spend some time Saturday. Pop on into Lee Michaels. Thrill mom with a gift in the red box. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your wife that you're giving her the gift, from your children. Let your children give mom that gift. Beautiful diamond jewelry, elegant pearls, timeless, classic earrings, necklaces, bracelets, pendants, rings, so many great options. Incredible selection. We talk about Lee Michaels all the time. It's like Goldilocks. It's just right. It's not cookie cutter like the big box stores. It's not limited selection and overpriced like the boutiques. It's perfect. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Every ounce of Raising Cane's lemonade has been hand-squeezed that day from fresh lemons before being served over our signature crushed ice. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
It's not easy to be a champion.
It's built from every swing, pitch, and game all season long. In the grind, the focus,
and in the recovery.
FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake experts provide best-in-class care for our state's world-class athletes. Because it takes a champion to care for champions.
I trust the lake to keep me at my best.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. At